It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, here we go. It is going to be a wet and wild Wednesday, but it's not Wednesday, it's Tuesday. Tricked you. And myself. I don't know what day it is. Sports Week here on Rothman and Ice. Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, CB, how we feeling, fellas?
You know, the days all blend together when you do what we do. Sometimes people ask me, like, yeah, what'd you talk about on the show? And I have to, like, hesitate. You know, we just talk about so many things, keeping up with days, all of that. You know, who knows? Who really cares? It's just good to be back, and we got a lot going on, man, so it should be a fun show. Can't wait to get after it, big dog.
The man of 1,000 voices, or at least hundreds, my boy Frank Caliendo, 12:30 today. Maybe we can get him to do a little overtime with us as well, because he's coming back to C-Bus. C-Bus, epic. He'll do that, as well as many others. So you get a chance to see him one early evening only, Sunday, April 13th. Get your tickets at frankcaliendo.com or at the Funny Bone Columbus. We will talk to him because he is one of the coolest entertainers you'll ever hear. And I've always said it this way. If you've seen him live, then you need to go. If you've never seen him live, you have to go. And he's that kind of guy. It's that kind of a show. So looking forward to have Frank on at 12:30. We'll do some true or false today. We'll talk college football with our friend Pete Fiutak. And we'll talk specific Buckeye stuff with our friend Dan Hope of 11 Warriors. That game last night, Matty, I'm not going to say season saver because if they go ahead and drop the next one, then it's a wash. We know where the Jackets stand. We know that they're playing relevant hockey in late March, which is not something people thought about at the beginning of the season. They just didn't. It was after the tragedy. My mind went to just try to band together, make the best of it, keep building what you're building with the young core, find out if Elvis is the guy or not, which it seems like they have, and then maybe, just maybe, after football season, there'll still be relevant hockey games to attend and watch. Well, we checked every box, and they played, and they've been playing really well. The sad part is I can't come in here every day and telling you how well they played if they're losing the games. While it's true, it's factually accurate, at the end of the day, it really doesn't mean anything. If they were out of it playing really good hockey, I think we could talk about it in a different mindset. But I think what Jacket fans, what they don't want to hear is, boy, are we going to be dangerous next year? Like, they want this year somehow to count. And what I mean by count is get in the party. I don't care how you do it. You get in. Yeah. And basically what that does is, it kind of validates how special this specific group had to be coming off of what they had to come off of before the season.
I completely agree with what you said. And not only can it do that, but it can pay off next year when hopefully you find yourself in position to be in the playoffs again. And you get these young guys into that atmosphere, into that pressure-packed situation to where the Fantillis of the world and some of these other guys that are really figuring it out right now, get into that type of situation and say, man, okay, we learned from that. You're going to succeed. You're going to have negatives pop up when you're a youngish team in the postseason. We see that up and down sports all over the place. That's just what happens more times than not. You have the veteran teams, the experienced teams go on and make the most noise. But I think that's what I really want for this team, is to have the core of guys that are going to be around for the next few years, feel what it's like to get into a series, no matter who that's against, and try to figure it out and play some big-time hockey. They're a couple points away right now from that second wildcard spot after last night. You're right. Big picture before the end result last night against the Islanders, it hasn't been great, and they've been struggling on offense. They've also been struggling out of the gate in some of these games, which is hurting them and making them really grind late in games and scratch and claw as much as they possibly could. They did a good job of that last night. I thought in the third period, They really got off a lot of shots in that third period there. I think it was 17-4 in favor of our Jackets and shots in that period. So that was awesome. But the starts of the game have been hurting them. I mean, you're talking 7 straight games now where the opposing team has scored first. And so that's something that I'm sure that they've talked about and tried to identify. But that's what I want to see them get cleared up as well. Outside of the offense being a roller coaster ride, is let's get clean starts to these games and then create some positive momentum going into the second and third.
Yeah, they threw everything they could at him. And what was happening to this team over the last couple of games was that they were putting pressure on the opposing team, and they weren't seeing any result.
Yeah.
And it was messing with maybe my mind, fans' minds, their minds, and they just had to stick with it. They're the pros. They know. But I would say that last night, even though they were down 2-0, Elvis made some really good saves early. And that game goes sideways if they go down 3-0. It just doesn't feel like they're coming back. And where they were having problems last night was bringing that puck in. And they were kind of bungling it at the opposing blue line of the Islanders. And then it would come back the other way. They were a little disheveled, and they were a little slow to they were watching the puck a little bit, and they're down 2-0. And not only were they down 2-0, there was a horrendous call, I thought, on our boy Sivo, who was battling for a puck that was sent down the ice, and Horvat and he were gambling and battling, and they call it on him, a trip, which was it was an atrocious call. And so they've got to go on a kill, and they killed it off. They even had a shorty chance, a really good one with Olivier and Cunnin, but they killed that off. And after they killed that off, Fance comes back with this just wicked shot from the left circle and beats Sorokin. And now it's a 2-1 game with 5 to go in the second, and you're in the game. If it goes the other way, if that horrible penalty goes the other way and the Islanders score on a power play and you're down 3-0, the mindset of the game completely changes. Boone gets a shorty. It's 2-2. They give one right back up and go 3-2, and they got to kill the rest of a penalty to start the third. It was one of those just battle games and grindy games for the Jackets. And to see them get what I thought was the break of the year, I think it was, I don't know how much you saw of the specifics of the 9 seconds left in regulation of the goalie interference. Did you think it was?
Yeah.
You did?
I thought so.
Okay. I didn't think. I thought we got the break of all breaks. And maybe it was because of earlier in the game that one didn't go our way, and then that Severson one that I just talked about didn't go their way. And it's part of it. So I'll give you my kind of summary of, because goalie interference now in the NHL is bizarro world, Matty. I just, it's one of those things where you can't really call everything the same. The NHL has tried, if the goalies get bumped and all that, and they can't reset, and there's all that chance. I'm going to go on what I heard from JD and what I heard from JL, because I thought the same thing. JD thought that we got a break, that Elvis could reset, and JL thought maybe it was somewhat of a makeup call from earlier in the game where he didn't get the call. So here's what I'll tell you about goalie interference. First of all, anything that happens with under a minute left in the game is initiated by the league. So it's not something you're challenging and all that. And if that exact same play happens, where Palmieri comes in, touches Elvis, then resets, there's not a coach in the league that's challenging that in the second period. Not a coach in the league would look at that video and challenge that call because they know that the risk reward is too much for something that's not that obvious. So that's number one. And the league, what I've learned now from guys in the league is that the league is going to back the guys on the ice. And when that ref called it so emphatically, goalie interference, no goal, and waves it off, I think the league goes in, and if they see in Toronto, if they don't see that it's 100% conclusive, then they usually stick with the call on the ice. It happens in other sports too. And if that's called a goal on the ice, I bet they're not overturning it. I just think they're not. So no one's apologizing for it. So you'd never apologize. And the beautiful thing for the Jackets is that they were able to take advantage of it. Mm-hmm. That's the key. And not only just get the point, but then get the other in the shootout. And Fance was amazing, and Elvis was amazing. Yeah. And the fact that Fance had the key goal that I mentioned at 2-1. Then he wins it in the shootout. Elvis was huge. aren't the beneficiary of calls earlier in the game. They are the beneficiary of a call late in the game. They took advantage of it. End of story. You get 2 points. You move forward. You have days of rest now before the Canucks come in. And by the way, they're going to be battling hard. So this proof of life that we got last night, I think, and it counters, Maddie, some of the narrative out there that they had hit a wall, that the pressure got the best of them, because there was no better pressure than being 2-0 down on road ice, a place you haven't won ever, and you're battling that team who's above you for points.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, listen, the offense, they hit a slump, and that happens. You're going to find yourself in that situation sometimes, but you're also missing some key guys, right? You get Monahan back last night. He's out there making his presence felt, making some big hits out there. Gabranson returns yesterday. Guys that you knew coming into the season were going to be big-time focal points of what you wanted to do. So having those guys back in the mix absolutely helped. And then Elvis was awesome. I mean, that overtime stop he had, right, where it was a little over 3 minutes to go in that period, and it was just an incredible save there. And 2 out of the last 3 games for Elvis, he's got a save percentage that's starting with a 9. And that's just what you need this time of year, especially when your offense is in question sometimes right now going into games, is the team has confidence in the guy in the net. And I think Elvis is breathing some life into this team right now with his play. That's just such a big deal. And also, real quick, we've been talking about Marchenko the last couple of days, and him getting back on the sheet was awesome as well, right? Because he hit a bit of a cold streak there on a 5-game pointless streak. And he also had 5 shots in the game yesterday. You know, that was the first time he had 5 shots in a game since January 4th. So if that's going to wake him up with his offensive ability, that's obviously huge, because he has been a go-to guy all year long.
Yeah, it's a gutsy win. It was about as gutsy of a win I've seen the Jackets have this season. Here's Coach Dean on just the specifics of sometimes it takes a little bit of help.
We didn't play particularly well in some areas, and we haven't got the breaks that we did. We got some, a couple bounces and a couple deflections. Obviously, Boone's on the PK, gets deflected, and we end up scoring on it. And we got some breaks, we got some bounces, but we also work to create some of them as well.
No doubt. And it takes a little luck, and you take advantage of it. And Coach Dean, gutsy, challenging the call on the goalie interference earlier in the game, going on another kill, late second into the third, and if they fail, they fall probably. And even though Lee hit Elvis in the mask, the puck was already over the line, but then they got to kill that off early third. They're still battling. Great win. Just an awesome win to keep hope alive. All right, we're going to come back, and we'll check in on Buckeye football. Matt Patricia, you heard some of him live yesterday on the show. You'll hear more, and he is going back to school, and this is why. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
I'm an old school Joe, and my philosophy is simple and effective. At the end of the day, it's not what you win or lose, it's what you save. And bet and reduce juice at Prime Sports Ohio is the way to save money on every single bet. Download the Prime Sports Ohio app or visit our website, primesportsbook.com. Get a welcome bonus to match your initial deposit up to $400 in bonus bets. And be a member of the Prime Sports family.
Terms and conditions apply. Visit website for details. Must be 21 and present in Ohio. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
The best matchup is you in a new Kia from Coughlin Kia. Get into a new Kia now with $0 down. Get 0% financing on select new Kias and make 0 payments for 3 months on any new Kia in stock. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
Coughlin has the car for you.
0% for 72 equals $1,389 per 1,000 financed on Nero EV, EV6, and EV9 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 90 days deferred payments until June 2025. Qualified manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. No security deposit. Residency restrictions may apply. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/25.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Where Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Spring into savings at Ohio Mulch. Get 5 bags of red, black, or brown mulch for just $10.95 now through April 5th. Save $50 on home delivery too. Visit OhioMulch.com today.
Ohio Mulch, Landscape Supply.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Common Man here for Weed Man. I always have the greenest lawn in the neighborhood. It's luscious. I swear by 2 things, water and Weed Man. Weed Man is locally owned and operated by Corbin and Audrey. They will make sure your lawn is weed-free and looking gorgeous. Of course, they get rid of weeds, but they also do aeration, mosquito control, grub control, crabgrass prevention, and flea and tick control for your 4-legged friends. For a free quote, give them a call, 614-733-3747, weedmanusa.com. Tell them Common Man sent you.
Hi, here are some ways to listen to The Fan. You can download the Fan app or listen at home on your smart speaker or open up the iHeartRadio app or hold your head out the window and hear Common Man scream. Happy listening from the dopes at The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Some foot issues just can't be fixed by those expensive shoe stores or shoe inserts. A foot exam from a doctor of podiatric medicine, who is the medical expert in foot and ankle care, may give solutions after doing a complete foot examination. If you suffer from foot, heel, or ankle pain, let us help you find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association so you know you are being treated by the very best.
For more information or to find a member of the Ohio Foot and Ankle Medical Association near you, visit ohiofoot.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens with your latest forecast. Temperatures in the mid to low 50s this afternoon with a mix of sun and clouds. Skies clear tonight. Temperatures will fall down to around 30 degrees. We'll be back up near 50 for Wednesday, mostly sunny. Back into the mid 50s Thursday, though we could see a few scattered showers across the region. Temperatures out there will be in the 60s by Friday, with rain chances becoming more widespread. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Want to jinx your favorite sports team?
Please get out of my Van Halen t-shirt before you jinx the band and they break up.
Just ask Maddie to print your shirts. You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Frank Caliendo coming up bottom of the hour. 11 Warriors had a little poll on their site, Maddie. It said, do you think Ohio State should be playing a spring game this year? Care to guess the results?
Oh, man. Just the answer straight up yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
I am going to say...
For the third option, I would have typed in, let's do it, but with a Nerf.
A Nerf football?
Yeah, I would dominate.
Buckeye fans love their squad. I'm going to say yes one in that poll.
Now, they're the winner. Would you like to guess the percentage?
I'm going to say the percentage is 60-40 yes.
Okay. Higher. We're at 80-20, and I'm actually thinking, what the hell's wrong with the 20? The only thing I'm thinking is maybe they love their team so much they don't want to take a chance of anybody getting injured. It's the only thing I can think of. Why wouldn't anybody want to see them go through kind of a controlled, glorified scrimmage game rather than just drills?
Especially this year
with
the new faces and the new looks. Like, I could understand if it was like, all right, the same old cast of characters coming back and juniors and seniors and guys we've been watching. But, yeah, you're going to get a look at the quarterbacks, these running backs, guys on defense, guys that you hear about throughout the recruiting process, guys that you hear about, from some coaches, some players that are like, okay, you may want to watch out for this guy. But, yeah, it'll be a fun day. And I can't wait to see what it looks like. So, yeah, 80-20, I'm not surprised by that. Buckeye fans get a chance to come out to the shoe, do a little tailgate, and get outside. Hopefully the weather will be good. I'm here for it. I can understand why other people are as well.
Yeah, I want to see Ryan Day yell at Julian Sayin again. Why you throw that ball? Why throw it away? Don't take the sack in the red zone. Like, that's the stuff we want to see. I'm with you. Or, if, like you said, if it was a returning championship team and they had all the guys back, you give them those bubble wrap sumo suits and you let them go out and play in those things.
Wouldn't be mad at that either.
Yeah.
Here's
bounce some
thing.
Dudes around.
These guys can get hurt doing anything. All these practices that are happening right now, like I understand like the thought process of the tackling is ramped up more in a game setting, but I'm sure they're doing some of that behind the scenes.
They're really tackling
They may be thudding,
I think it's
wrap up, don't take them to the ground, but these guys, we've seen freak injuries all the time. So you just got to hope every day now, especially with these practices popping off the way that they are in this spring window, that you just keep your fingers crossed every day that there's no bad dudes coming out of that building. But there's only so much you can do. There's only so much control you got over. Those guys are going to want to go out there and compete every day. And especially now with what we just talked about, with a lot of new faces, there's high-level competition always over there. But now it's probably ramped up even more because guys are hungry to grab that spot and become a household name.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to see as much as they possibly are willing to show, and not from some of the talks about him. I'm just curious, like you are. I'd love to see it. Matt Patricia sat down and talked with the media yesterday. He was at the podium, did a lot on the defense. And one of the interesting guys on this team will be C.J. Hicks, because the transition that he's going to make on playing on the edge will be very interesting, and to see if he can finally become what you're saying, which is that household name. Here's Matt on CJ.
He's a tremendous guy, just the energy and the excitement, and he's always trying to please, he's really eager to learn everything. Skill set wise, he's really unique, like he can play off the ball, he can play on the ball. He does a good job of transitioning his vision. Sometimes when you go behind the line of scrimmage, you got to adjust your vision, but he does that very well. And then I would say his explosive power. When you watch him, obviously pass rush, and he can have some great skill pass rushing on the edge. But even in the run game, just that explosive pop that he can have. Some of the other type of hybrid, outside linebacker defensive ends that I've coached in the past, similar type of skill set, similar type of body frame, things like that. And that's good, because you can use them in unique ways and in different ways, and hopefully cause the offense a little bit of confusion when you do that with those guys.
6'3", 235, standing up on the edge. Yeah, let him lean into that athleticism.
Yeah, because, you heard Coach Patricia right there use the word hybrid and his ability to play on ball, off the ball. I think it would be great for this year's team if C.J. Hicks turns into a dude down there in the trenches getting after quarterbacks. With the experience that just left, with Tyleek, JT, Jack, those guys no longer in that defensive line room. If Larry Johnson, Coach Patricia, and all these other defensive coaches can find a way to have C.J. Hicks and himself doing it too, right? Like putting in the work, become a dude on that D-line, I think that's going to go a long way for this defense. It's great to have kind of that guy that can do a little bit of everything on your defense, but on the back end, I like what they have already with Caleb. Sonny's going to be in the middle, and I think he's going to be an even better player this year, but they need that presence coming off the edge, and especially in week one when you're dealing with Arch Manning and some of the other quarterbacks that they're going to play within the conference and out of conference, hopefully later in the year in the CFP again. But he is a big-time X factor in my opinion. Curry as well, Kenyatta Jackson on that D-line. But because of the physical tools that CJ has, it seems like he's got the goods to turn into a guy that can be a problem for opposing offensive lines and quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of his time now to go.
Yeah.
He's part of that 2022 recruiting class, and he was number one ranked player, I think, in the state, if I remember correctly. He's that good, the kid from Dayton, C.J. Hicks. Here is Matt Patricia on selling the program, meeting with recruits.
Been a little while for me on that deal, so it's really cool. I mean, the whole thing is completely changed, right? I think there's so much coming at these guys so fast. I kind of feel for them sometimes, and I think for me, my approach is just I'm trying to be as direct as I can and as honest with them as I can, and just help them evaluate what I see and how do they get better, and then visions for us going forward and how we would be able to implement that. But I really do enjoy sitting down. Right now in the initial phases, I think a lot of them, because they have been they've been recruited by Ohio State for a while. So a lot of that process is just getting to know my story a little bit and getting to know me. But at the same time, understanding and learning the player and learning the kid and what he's been through and what, kind of his journey a little bit is important, and the family and all of that. And it's just kind of building that relationship. I think that's the coolest part right now. And, again, like college is great, mentoring young men, but then to, then project that into the high school level. Like I said, my parents were teachers, and my dad, he did that a lot too. So just trying to keep his voice in my head a little bit, and understanding, these are young kids, and really, again, like I said, there's just a lot coming at them, I think. So listening is really important, and then, just building that relationship with them.
It's back where he started. This is got to be an odd thing for a guy to go from head coach of an NFL team and to be involved with Belichick over the years and championships and pros and multi-millionaires. Oh, that's the same. I'm sorry. And so it's got to be interesting. So let's get a quick bite on that. Him going from top of the mountain head coach NFL to OSU.
I'm very blessed for my NFL career. I was really, really lucky. I've coached great players. I had a lot of fun, but I think, like I mentioned before, I think I started off as a college coach. I think that was where people really impacted me as a young man. And I think as a coach, we want to teach, we want to mentor, and that's what we want to do. And, this is a great opportunity for me to get back to that. I think that's really important right now, just to, teach the game. And I know I can help them. I know I can help the kids, and if they want to go to the next level, I can give them a lot of good advice. But, it's Ohio State. This is the top. So, I'm pretty lucky to be here.
You are. Why wouldn't he feel that way? Joining the premier program in college football that's coming off a national title.
He's in a great position, right? And who knows what this can turn into for Matt. And, maybe in the back of his mind, hey, I want to get back into head coaching, whether it's in college, whether it's in the NFL, whatever that looks like for him. This has always been a good, the trampoline, if you will, for coaches and players to go on to do big things. And when it comes to the recruiting stuff, it may take him some time to figure all that out, because the game has absolutely changed, but he's got Coach Day, Coach Johnson, some other guys that know what it takes to recruit at a high level that he can lean on, and I'm sure he'll figure it out in time.
All right, we'll take a break and come back in 2 minutes with a man who's the master of impersonation and impression. My boy Frank Caliendo has been doing it for 25 years, and he ain't tired yet. He'll be coming back to Columbus in April. You'll get a preview in 2 minutes. Rothman and Ice in the Fan.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers. So don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-452-6262. That's 800-452-6262. Again, that's 800-452-6262.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade
lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Truth of the matter is, you're listening to Rothman and Ice on 97.1 The Fan.
You got a little taste of it already. My dude, the national treasure, Frank Caliendo, Columbus Funny Bone at Easton. One early evening only. Sunday, April 13th at 6. You can get tickets through frankcaliendo.com or columbus.funnybone.com. Frankie goes to Hollywood, and he also comes to C-Bus. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. I'm just getting over an exhilarating ping pong match. Actually, 8 of them this morning. I burned 1,200 calories.
You're still on this kick. Good for you.
Listen, I can't go pick a ball. I feel like it's a step backwards for me at where I am in the table tennis world. And before we bore everybody, let's do some Charles Barkley. Don't be a knucklehead. Did you see Barkley last week? Well, of course you saw him somewhere, but I mean, he on accident he did my bit. Ernie says to him, which my bit is a slight exaggeration, but Ernie says to him, Charles, what do you think of the first half? Well, that's a good question. then Kenny chimes in with it. It's your job to be able to answer this. And Chuck was just, he said he was watching a different game, but I don't know. But Chuck is everybody during March Madness because nobody knows any of the teams other than their team, maybe a little bit. But nobody's watched until March, so they don't really even know it's gone. Although a lot of people might know Cooper Flagg and Duke, but he's the most promoted guy since Zion was at Duke, I guess.
Frank, I don't know if his job is to watch anymore. I think they by the way, they even built that set now where they strut him over to that donut factory. Have you seen that?
I mean, it's what's great about the show is it doesn't even have to be about basketball, and Barkley makes sure of that. They're fun. They're all great. Ernie's trying to direct traffic the way James Brown used to do on Fox, and Kurt Menefee does now. But JB was there when I first got there, and just watching some of these guys try and navigate the insanity that's going on. And I'm sure Barkley could do everything. But do you really want to see that from Charles? I want to be entertained. I think he does. I think it's smarter and better to do it the way he does it.
Frank, have you had any interactions with Charles? And if so, what does he think about your impersonation of him?
Oh yeah. The first time I met him, I don't remember if I met him on the set of TNT. Might have been on the set of TNT, but I also did an event with him for the Phoenix Suns charities, and he came up on stage with me. And I was making fun of him the whole time, saying that's terrible, a whole bunch, calling people knuckleheads. And I set it up with him beforehand. I'm like, I'm going to go up. I'm going to talk about you for 2 minutes. I'm going to talk about other people for 25 minutes. And then I'm going to talk about you for a couple minutes again. That second time I talk about you, I want you to sneak up on stage, make fun of me. You'll be the hero of the night. It's like, that sounds perfect. That'll be really, really good. Show starts. I'm up there for a minute and a half talking about him. And there he was standing next to me. I'm like, what are you doing up here? He's like, I couldn't take it anymore. Everybody said I had to get up here and defend myself. So he's great. I mean, he's doing, pretty much what he wants to in life. He's earned that. And I don't think it would be smart for him to try to be too actual analytical. It's like Bill Walton. Bill Walton, people wanted to see him get mad at Bill Walton for being Bill Walton, right? But when I did those games with Walton and Pash on the Pac-12 After Dark, essentially, I would go off more than Bill, and Dave Pash would be like, it's crazy to see Bill actually talking more basketball than somebody else on this show, and I'm out there going, imagine the elements going on here. The saguaro cactus, I drank out of one earlier. Here we go. The sun is setting. What's your name again? Dave. Whatever. Who cares? Everybody's here for me. Now, to know, Walton really did do a lot of. He cared. I think Charles cares too. It's just a different kind of thing. The element. But Bill would do a ton of research and stuff before, and then he just couldn't remember it. I think there were too many things going on.
Of the many voices you do and people that you can do impressions of, how many have you actually met in person?
Madden, Gruden, Dr. Phil. I'm trying to think if there's some of the Avengers guys, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth. Tom Hiddleston. Quite a few. The sports guys, people know me more. Mel Kiper, talking about tremendous situation. Look right here. At the end of the day, the Mel Kiper impression, you'd be hard-pressed to be otherwise. Trying to think, Adam Schefter, according to my sources, at this particular time, it appears. Anytime I ask Schefter, something, he gives me exact things. I'm like, where are you? At the doctor's office, 3 seats over from the Highlights magazine, South Side. No, what city are you in? Oh, Long Island. What are you doing, man? Like, everything is, although he's loosened up over the past couple of years, he's hit people back on Twitter or X or whatever it's called. And Schefter's just, he's almost like a Will Ferrell character where he's so straight ahead sometimes, and it's so serious and sincere that it becomes funny. And that's how Will Ferrell becomes funny. He doesn't do jokes. He just dives so hard into a character that you're going, oh, like on The Office. Steve Carell on The Office. Like, you just dive into that and you're like, oh my gosh, but Schefter's that in real life.
You mentioned John Madden. Like, I want to go back to that. Take us back to that time and what that was like, chopping it up with John Madden, just this historical voice, in the sport of football, the video game, that stuff is legendary. But your time with John Madden, like, what was that like for you?
Well, I finally met him. He didn't like me. The president of Fox Sports, David Hill, at the time, was like, he doesn't like you. I'm like, yeah, but it sounds still pretty decent coming out of your mouth with an Australian accent. So I finally met him Super Bowl. I tell this story in my act. Super Bowl Dallas, Four Seasons Hotel. He's standing in the lobby talking to these kids. I'm guessing there's grandkids, so I don't want to bother him. Jimmy Johnson's standing next to him. I'm like, Jimmy, that I worked with, Jimmy, like, can you believe I'm this close to John Madden? He's like, what, you haven't met him yet? He taps Madden on the shoulder. Madden's like, what is it, Jimmy? Oh. And the look on his face when he saw me was like Shaggy and Scooby when they see the bad guy pop out of the barrel. It was like, zoinks, like, hey, Scoob, like, let's get out of here. Ruh-roh, this is going to be bad. But I made his grandkids laugh. You know what? Barkley actually tells one of the stories. When I did meet Charles, he tells the story on the New Heights on the Kelsey podcast. So they asked him. I don't know if they asked him about me or what it was, but he's like, John Madden wanted to sue Frank Caliendo, and like Barkley was kind of had to talk him out of it. Like he's like, that just does more for us. Like Charles got it and Madden didn't. And it was one of those things where whatever. I think one thing a lot of people worry is it's going to hurt their bottom line. So if you do an impression of somebody that's, especially in the sports world, and they have a lot of endorsements, they're worried that's going to make fun of them too much where they don't make that secondary money anymore. But the opposite happens. You become bigger than life, and maybe you get giggled at once in a while, but it's more you're like Gruden did that tire commercial years ago or whatever it was where he's talking to the tire. He texted me at like 4 a.m, which is I think noon for him or lunchtime, and he's like, they just had me in a commercial where they told me to do an impersonation of you. And I was like, what does that even mean? But then I realized he probably was not being big enough. So they're like, go over to the top, man. Talk to the treads on that tire. That's going to be tremendous. Here we go. And that's what he is on, that's what he is. He is on Barstool now. If you just watch Gruden opening up boxes everywhere, I got another one. This one's from The Ohio State University. Man, it's going to be tremendous right here.
Frank Caliendo, Columbus Funny Bone, Easton, Sunday, April 13th, 6 o'clock. Did you tell me that Gruden, of all the guys you do, I feel like you are becoming closest with? You were going to go on vacation with him?
Well, I didn't. No, I saw him in Italy 2 years ago. I'd never been to Italy. We had this trip to Italy, and I put up a post on some social media, maybe Instagram, or I think it was Instagram, but maybe Facebook, maybe both. But it was in front of the Coliseum. I got a text from his right-hand man, Jeff Leonardo. Did you know John is in Rome right now? I'm like, what, you think I have Grudar? I don't know. I have no idea he's here. Like there is another. It's like Star Wars, It's like I can feel the force is strong with this one, man. I can feel him. So we ended up having dinner together, our families, and it was really funny because there's nothing greater than John Gruden looking over. You gonna finish that, man? You gonna finish that meatball? Pass me the pasta fagioli. You ever had pasta fagioli? You ever remember that fusilli Jerry? Remember that? That was funny. Seinfeld. It's a good show.
You and Gruden under the Tuscan sun together.
Yeah, right.
All right, stick around. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. You ready for a little rapid fire? We'll throw some voices at you.
I'll do well and then ruin some and then come back.
All right, sounds good. Back with Frank Caliendo in moments. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
One of the things I had decided when I started the company was we were going to build the best window possible. We were going to give the best service possible. And I think we've accomplished that. Our reputation is built on taking care of people and building a great window and then taking care of it afterwards. It's just a darn good window.
Visit Rosati Windows and get 35% off all windows and doors by March 31st.
Montana, Bettis, Horning, and Brown, some of the greatest of all time, kicked off their careers in South Bend. You can celebrate Notre Dame football's impact on the professional game by visiting the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton to experience Gold Helmet to Gold Jacket March 14th through April 27th. And register to win our grand prize at 971thefan.com/Gold Jacket. One winner will receive 2 tickets to the Hall of Fame game, enshrinement ceremony, and the Hall of Fame Museum. That's 971thefan.com/Gold Jacket.
It's March, and you know what that means. Bracket season. You've crunched the numbers, picked your favorites, and maybe even taken a big gamble on that Cinderella team. But when it comes to your home, gambling is not an option. Spring storms are rolling in, bringing strong winds, heavy rain, and unpredictable weather. The question is your roof ready? At Newman Roofing, we don't leave anything up to chance. Whether you need a new roof, gutter replacement, or updated siding, our expert team is here to educate you, guide you, and give you the best options to fit your home's needs. No high-pressure sales, no surprises, just top-quality work from a team you can trust. That's why homeowners choose Newman Roofing, the #1 overall seed here in Columbus, because we deliver an unbeatable customer experience every single time. So, don't wait until the damage is done. Beat the storm before it ruins your big dance. Call 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF, or visit online at newmanroofing.com to schedule your spot this spring. Don't just get a new roof, get a Newman roof.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is caught up in the madness, and he's passing it to you for a slam dunk of deals. He's got rates as low as 0%, leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 2025 Honda Prologue all-wheel drive Elite? Lease it for $297 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $19.99 down. And he's even throwing you an extra $1,000 for your trade. More than 500 new and pre-owned to choose from. See dealer for details at Germain Honda of Dublin.
Buy 5, save 5 deals are back at Meijer. Buy 5 or more and save $5 or more when you mix or match on items like Dannon Light and Fit Greek Yogurt 4-packs, 5-pound bags of Halo Mandarin Oranges, assorted varieties of Kraft Cheese, and select 12 packs of Coca-Cola and Pepsi products, plus deposit where applicable. Saving money during the Meijer Buy 5, Save 5 sale makes grocery shopping a good deal better. Exclusions apply. See all deals in-store or in the Meijer app.
Morning Juice.
When you do hard things, you get more adept to be able to do more hard things. Do something you hate every day. When you do that, you'll callous your mind to it.
Morning Juice is sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Weekday mornings at 6. The Fan.
Who's cutting down the nets this year? Get in on all the tournament action at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Go from tracking the latest upsets to placing bets in just a few taps. Right now, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with promo code JQ to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
For a limited time at Verizon, you can get our best price ever. That's 4 lines on unlimited welcome for just $25 a line per month with autopay plus taxes and fees. You'll also get the new iPhone 16 Pro, 4 of them for the entire family when you trade in up to 4 phones from our top brands. That's a new phone for everyone, only on the network you can count on. Verizon. Visit a store today. 20 monthly promo credits applied over 36 months with a new line on unlimited welcome. In times of congestion, unlimited 5G and 4G LTE may be temporarily slower than other traffic. Domestic data roaming at 2G speeds. Additional terms apply for phone offer. See Verizon.com for details.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
What's up, knuckleheads? You're listening to Rothman and Ice on The Fan. It's not terrible.
We got the real Barkley here. Frank Caliendo coming back to CBUS. Sunday, April 13th, 6 o'clock. One early evening only at the Funny Bone at Easton. However, you are going to be in Liberty Township for 2 nights before that beautiful drive to Columbus. Funny Bones, you'll just be, hanging out in a strip mall down there, shopping for spring denim at Express, or what?
That's you got me nailed. Yeah. So what is it? It's Friday and Saturday at the Cincinnati Funny Bone,
right?
And then the Sunday is at the Columbus Funny Bone. So, and all those tickets are on their websites, but also frankonstage.com brings you to all of it.
Frank, before we get rolling with some other great impersonations that you do, I think my guy AR does a great Harry Carey. And he's been ready for this moment. You got to put a grade on this thing. It's his time to shine.
I've done this for you before, and it's okay. It's just... he's got a lot of the gyrations with the head, which obviously, you won't see. But what I liked about Harry Carey growing up in Chicago was over the years, the tongue would get kind of lazy and he would stop saying S's on the end of teams, be like, the California Rocky. Like he wouldn't add the S. And so
everybody became the Stanford Cardinal.
That's right. Exactly. So when I used to do this, and by the way, he'd get the names of the people he worked with wrong, which was classic at the end. So we'd go like, hello again, everybody. Harry Carey, along with Ralph Breneman and Sam Stone. Like he would change the names.
Yeah.
And then like that guy, Ken Caminiti, has got to be related to Scott Caminiti. Like he would add like those. So, but I grew up there. I mean,
the best was when he'd be like, a long fly ball, going back, and caught by Sandberg.
Right. Right.
How
drifting
Ryan Sandberg
back from second base.
What?
Right. Yeah. So anyway, I that's the only one I do, and I like doing it for you. So. Makes me feel.
What a treat for everybody.
Exactly, wasn't it? All right. So this is how we'll do this. I sent you the Myles Garrett trade request letter. He's obviously stayed with the Browns, so that's what will make this more funny.
Hopefully.
And do you want to do it like in each sentence, and I'll give you a voice?
Yeah. Don't even do the full sentence. Just cut in the middle of sentences.
Okay, go ahead.
That's always fine.
Let's start with John C. Reilly.
As a kid dreaming of the NFL, all I focused on was the ultimate goal of winning a Super Bowl. And
Morgan Freeman.
You should be cutting those off way earlier, Sonny. And the goal fuels me today more than ever. My love for the community.
Paul Giamatti.
Of Northeast Ohio, and the incredible fan base of the Cleveland Browns has made this one of
Jeff Goldblum.
The toughest decisions of my life. Yes, these past 8 years have shaped me.
Jim Rome.
Into the man that I am today. It's huge.
Robin Williams.
While I've loved calling this city my home, my desire to win and compete at the brightest stages won't allow me to be complacent.
Jack Nicholson.
The goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. It's always been to compete for and win a Super Bowl.
Adam Sandler.
And with that in mind, I have requested to be traded from the Cleveland Browns. Yours truly, Myles Garrett.
Chris Berman.
Signature.
Tracy Morgan, you got anything?
We're out of it already. How can I read when there's nothing left? That's crazy. Come on, AR.
Maybe you read it again.
Just go back to the beginning.
Go back to the beginning, George W. Bush.
Well, Tracy's throwing up now, man. That was weird. As a kid. Why are we reading this again?
You don't have to. All right.
I thought I was just happy I got through it.
That was incredible.
That was tremendified, man. Real good job.
Are the Stephen A. Smith, are the Cleveland Cavs going to win the title?
I have to say I understand where Cleveland is right now. And Donovan Mitchell playing the way that he is. And he'd always get things wrong, right? Just throw in names of guys that aren't even there. Dellavedova still playing very well. He hasn't been there for a long. What are you talking about? What is going on?
Tony Romo, are you and Jim Nantz planning a summer vacation together?
Oh, Jim, we're going to go to Italy. Oh, it's going to be really great. They're going to pass the spaghetti, Jim. Tony. Oh, Jim. Oh, I don't know what you're going to do here, Jim. This looks really good.
Jerry Jones, you haven't spent any money in free agency. Why?
Well, we like to keep it around. So we have it for next year. If we have all that money and we keep that money. That is our money.
Liam Neeson, is there another Taken in your future?
Of course there is. We're going to do the police academy, not police academy. What in the world are we doing? Not police squad. Naked Gun, I believe I'm doing next. Shirley. That's an airplane joke.
What else can I do?
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. But I know that you're running out of names and I'm running out of voices.
You know who I know? I heard you do one time, and this is going to date. You did a great. I've never heard you do Ted Knight, Caddyshack version, Ted Knight.
Oh, he was my favorite.
It's a long time ago. Do you still have that in the repertoire?
Yeah, always those it's people yell it out at shows. They're like, Spalding, I want you on the golf course in 5 minutes. Chop. Because he was he was the original voice of the Super Friends, the narrator. That was a bit I used to do where you go, meanwhile, back at the Hall of Justice, Aquaman has a fight with Billy Baru. Oh, Billy.
So good. Do you like to do the silly version of Robin Williams or the serious one?
Oh, well, the serious one's a lot of fun, but when I do that, people in the show get a little weird, so I wait until they yell it out and do it, you know? It's the one where you grow a beard and win an Academy Award. Always fun.
Get me.
Okay, I'm back.
Incredible.
So I got a question for Shaq. Are the Boston Celtics going to go back-to-back this year?
Yeah, I think they got a pretty good job. They're pretty good.
And then you got to go to Chuck to explain what he just said.
Well, I think the first half of what I said was pretty much on the money. But the second half, Shaq, come on. That's a crazy take. That's a ridiculous take, knucklehead. I said come on. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. When the guys, but that's Barkley. Then the guys banging. When those guys are banging, and when those guys become like 13-year-olds, and they're just, come on, guys, stop it, stop it. Come on.
What President Trump? How have your first 50 days in office gone?
Well, a lot of people have different opinions, and I'm doing what I do, and a lot of people, and quite frankly, it's tough, you know. And we're going. I've got a new thing that I'm doing that's it's Ronald McDonald Trump.
Okay.
it's just we're getting the best people. We're getting the best people. We've got because we've got to stop the Hamburglar. He's a bad guy, rebel, bad guy. So we've got Mayor McCheese, we get Officer Big Mac, and Elon McMuffin, and everything's going to be fine. We're going to make Playland great again. It's going to be the best.
All right, let's end on a couple here. What would John Gruden think of Aaron Rodgers becoming a Steeler?
I'll tell you what, man. I think Aaron Rodgers could pretty much play anywhere he wants. He's getting a little older now. I was going to call him A-Rod, but there's a different guy who's an A-Rod. But I'll tell you what, Aaron Rodgers, when he's not trying to figure out who killed JFK, this guy can still play a little football, man. I think the defensive mindedness of what's going on there in Pittsburgh, that could change. You know, they draft wide receivers really well. They do a nice job of that. You stick Aaron Rodgers in there, if he can stick to the plan, I think you got a pretty good job, man. Aaron Rodgers, one of the best throwers of the football I've ever seen.
If you've never seen Frank live, you have to go. If you have seen Frank live, you know you need to go. Columbus Funny Bone at Easton, Sunday, April 13th, 6 o'clock. Get your tickets through frankcaliendo.com or columbus.funnybone.com. You know how I like to signature end this with you. Al Pacino at Baskin & Robbins, 31 flavors.
This is going to be tough. But Rothman, don't forget about the Cincinnati Funny Bone, the Friday and Saturday before.
The time you're going to be there, and then Victoria's Secret, and then you're going to buy your spring denim at Express next door.
So many things to choose from. This is gonna be tough.
You're the best, man. I can't get enough of it. We'll be there at Easton on April 13th, and can't wait for the new stuff. What is pregame like for you? Before an act, anything unusual?
Not really. I just sit around and wonder if I'm going to work. I'm going to work on as much new stuff as I want to. That's the plan. Is give everybody the stuff they kind of see, and work on some new things and get them going. And it's a great take. Have fun. Best job ever. Rothman Ice, incredible. Out.
You're the man.
Ice
Be
man.
well, buddy. Thanks for spending a lot more time than I originally told you. That was a bait and switch, but I appreciate it.
Love it. I gotta go. I gotta go to the doctor in a little bit. So no, just a checkup.
Okay.
Just a checkup.
Turn to the left.
I don't know what that is. Seth Rogen laugh. We're out of here. Okay. See you later.
All right, just hang out, man. You can do the show with us for a couple more hours. All right, be well, and we'll see you soon.
All right, see you. Thanks.
Thanks, Frank Caliendo. One of a kind, national treasure here on Rothman and Ice. We will come back and reset at the top of the hour. We won't be able to follow that, but we will try. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We've been your Jackets flagship station since day one. All the goals, all the action, all the memories. Your home for the Columbus Blue Jackets, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Seal-Best White Elastomeric Roof Coating stops leaks and revives aged, flat, and metal roofs. It reflects the sun's heat to help you save on energy costs. And it's easy to apply with a brush, roller, or sprayer. Shop our entire selection of Seal-Best products today on Menards.com. Plus, check our weekly flyer for all of the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
Everybody poops, everybody pees. Mommy, will you call Mr. Rooter, please? 'Cause I gotta poop and I gotta pee. Only Mr. Rooter can clear the drain for me. Thank you, Mr. Rooter.
Hi, everybody. We call it what it is at Mr. Rooter. When you have a plumbing or drain problem, the team at Mr. Rooter is ready 7 days a week. Call us today and take advantage of our $95 drain cleaning special. Visit us at MrRooter.com. We'll be there quick.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Oh, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade
lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
Hey, it's Anthony, and I've got a fitting personalized for you. From the moment you walk in the Good Feet store, they're going to take the time to understand your unique lifestyle, your daily routines, and most importantly, the pain that brought you in to see them in the first place. If your feet ache after a long day or that discomfort starts radiating through your knees, your hips, your back, I've been there. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And they're working for me. I walked all over the place in New Orleans covering the big game. I was loving it. I literally was walking for miles around the French Quarter, Canal Street, everywhere, because I had my personally fit arch supports in my shoes. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people get back to feeling comfort on a daily basis. I want you to be one of them. Go in, take the free test walk. They're immediately available. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or goodfeet.com.
Now, your big ideas don't have to wait. They have everything they need to come to life because Dell Technologies and Intel are creating technology that loves ideas. A technology that loves expanding your business and evolving your passion. We push what technology can do so great ideas can happen right now. Find out how to bring your ideas to life at Dell.com. Welcome to Now.
Welcome to TGL presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime, forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour. Split into 6 teams. Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartemus. The Blue Jackets snapped their skid of 6 straight losses last night. They went into Long Island and defeated the New York Islanders 4-3. The most impressive part was that the Jackets were down 2-0 at the end of the first period. Adam Fantilli had himself a game. He scored a goal both in regulation and in the shootout. Sean Monahan also had a couple assists. Now the CBJ are only 2 points out of that second wildcard spot in the East. They will next play on Friday, so it'll be a while, but that Jackets-Canucks game will be able to be heard right on this here radio station. And today's the last day of spring training. There will be no baseball whatsoever tomorrow as everyone will be getting ready for opening day on Thursday. The Reds will host the Giants and the Guardians will begin the year in Kansas City. This update is sponsored by BMI Federal Credit Union. Enjoy rates as low as 9.90% APR with a Visa Platinum credit card. Apply online at bmifcu.org/visa. Breaking sports news on the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is Rothman and Ice, the #1 rated midday show in Columbus.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All right, back at it, second hour, Rothman and Ice. Thanks to Frank Caliendo, entertaining us for about a half hour.
Yeah, it's good
Do
stuff.
this, Frank. Do this. Do that.
I mean, the rapid fire is just ridiculous.
I ran out of ideas.
It takes so much talent to do that. It's mind-blowing that on the fly he could just go from voice to voice to voice. Just so entertaining when we have Frank on, man. He's so good to us. He usually joins us once or twice a year. So thankful for his time. If you're just now joining us and you missed Frank Caliendo, don't worry, because wherever you get your podcast, just type in Rothman and Ice. You'll be able to catch up on that and everything else we do from noon to 3. Subscribe to the pod as well. Our podcast is sponsored by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
All right, we'll talk college football with Pete Fiutak coming up at 1:30. You know, something weird happened on the way to Shedeur Sanders' pro day, or what something is kind of weird, and that's that the primetime parent is kind of not helicoptering this thing because Shedeur is way too good. He doesn't need his dad to get drafted. That's not this. But I understand why he'd want to lean into his dad's experience and contacts and all the experience he has with coaches and GMs and people he knows. Like when we do this a lot on the program, we'll ask, well, what's the best fit for this guy? Well, there are a lot of people that would somewhat know that. His dad may be the #1 guy to know, what the best fit might be for his son to play quarterback in the NFL. And I heard Hasselbeck talking this morning about how Shedeur may be the most ready to go in and handle a game, but he's not the best, meaning he doesn't have the ceiling he feels the others have. And there's some stuff that's limited for Shedeur that wouldn't be limited for others. However, the biggest compliment he gave him this morning was that he's just probably heard and seen and experienced a lot more than most.
Big lights, big time pressure, just with that last name on the back of your jersey, having to live up to or try to live up to who your dad was. I mean, that's just really impressive to get to this point and not have, any, off the field stuff that's really crazy or anything negative like that. For the most part, it seems like Shedeur's about ball, and he's really good at what he does. It definitely feels like he's the guy of the two between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders that has the safest floor probably, but not the highest ceiling. And a lot of times teams are going to bet on the highest ceiling, and Cam, by everything that came out of Miami yesterday in their pro day, sounded like he did his thing, which he should. A lot of those things are scripted, and you get a lot of time to practice those things. It shouldn't be the end-all, be-all, but you want it to be clean, and it sounds like that's the case. But for Shedeur, one thing that I'm really impressed with is his toughness, because he got beat up a lot the last 2 years based off of the lack of protection in front of him with that offensive line. So I love that about him, is that he's a tough dude, took a lot of hits, got back up, continue to be a good leader, continue to be, more importantly, a good quarterback within the pocket, because his completion percentage was really high, one of the tops in the country last year. So maybe he doesn't get into the league and turn into one of those top 5, top 10 guys, but I think he can be a top half of the league quarterback. Like, I see that for him. And if he fine-tunes his game over the years, he can rise up even higher than that, because I truly believe his throwing ability is really good. Like, you hold up in front of that guy, and you have playmakers that can get open, create space. Shedeur Sanders is going to deliver more times than not. So whether it's, the Browns, the Titans, the Giants, the Raiders, who knows? Like, I think the team should take a swing on him, and in time, he's going to deliver some goods for you.
Yeah, I don't think there's not a ton of danger with him, I don't believe. I mean, I guess anybody that's picked in the top 3, if they don't work out, would be considered a bust. But his pro day is a week from Friday. It's going to be live on the NFL Network, and it's going to be 2 hours of coverage, and it's going to be a real pressurized audition, like a lot of these are, but his maybe more than others. And I think what happens with a guy that has a legendary father is that if he didn't, would it change where he's being drafted? I don't know. It's tough to know. If his name was Shedeur Smith and not Sanders, would anybody coming out of Colorado, would people look at him the same? I do think it's okay to look at him a little differently because of who his dad is, as I've mentioned, because of the coaching and experience and the guidance that he has. And like you said, maybe the toughness and confidence and all that stuff, composure under pressure. Actually, some of the knock on him probably was that he held on the ball too long, that he tried to make too much out of nothing, and that he, took a lot of sacks. But then you can go to his offensive line and say the same thing. So it's going to be interesting to me. The one thing that was floated out there today about Shedeur was something you brought up with his dad being at there's no video of this, but I almost feel like the guy that threw it out there, how many people were there? What was this? Was this a media opportunity?
So Deion was a keynote speaker at an event called ProMat 2025 in Chicago. And there's a guy out on Twitter whose username, I believe, is John Sokol, Sokol, and he was there at the conference, and he tweeted out a picture of Deion with the caption saying, "We want New York." And so people have been not really running with that because there hasn't been any video. There's not any sound of this. So this guy is kind of getting dunked on right now because it doesn't sound like or seem like Deion actually said this. The reason why some people would run with it, I believe, is because I don't think anybody would be surprised if Deion came out and said this. So it's just kind of this thing that's been in the wind right now, and nobody knows whether or not it's really true or false.
When you first told me about this morning.
Well, real quick, I just want to add to this because it's important. There was a football account of some sort on Instagram that posted this little report thing, and Deion Sanders actually commented on the Instagram post saying, "This is a lie. We're thankful for wherever God chooses for him."
All right. So this was in Chicago. As you said, John Sokol, ProMat Conference in Chicago. And the quote that he's quoting here is, "Let's hope it's New York."
Let's hope it's New York.
Let's hope it's New York. And so it wasn't in New York. So it's not like anyone's trying to slant it. And you said this guy is a credited.
I have no idea who the guy is. No clue.
Yeah.
He was just there at the event.
So I clicked on the tweet or the story or whatever, and guess what?
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
So when you originally told me, I thought, this is what went through my mind. what is the advantage of this? Or if there's nothing to it, it wouldn't make sense because he wants, I would think, his son to be drafted number 1 if possible.
No doubt.
But maybe in the back of his mind, 3 to New York is better than 1 to Tennessee anyway. But maybe there's part of him that believes that wherever he goes, I want it to be the right fit. And that's why I kind of believed it when he said, let's hope it's New York. You said it perfectly. This is nothing that any of us heard this morning that thought, well, that can't be true, because it's very well could be. Now that it's not there, so I guess when I first heard this, I thought, he's probably right. He's probably right in a way. It gets him everything. Gets him the Big Apple. Gets him the number 1 media market. It gets him Malik Neighbors. It gets him a team where it's a little bit of buy low on them. I'm not saying it's better than Cleveland. It probably would be just as good in Cleveland or better because they have a better team. But the history of New York and the fact it's the biggest market in the country would lead me to believe that that's where Prime wants his son to be.
Yeah.
Because he can handle it. So now that we know it may not be true, your initial instincts were that it was true?
No, I didn't know what to believe.
Because it's pretty benign. Let's hope it's New York.
The reason why I didn't know really where I wanted to go with it is because we live in this day and age to where when a guy like Deion Sanders is doing any type of speaking, especially right now, there's going to be cameras and videos all over the place. And this thing would have been viral within minutes if that's what he said. So I don't know why this guy decided to throw that out there. Maybe he misheard Prime. I don't know. But now this guy's lost a lot of credibility because you're just making up stuff to try to get traction. I don't know, for your website, your Twitter page, whatever this guy was thinking. I don't know. But Vegas right now, at a lot of books, has Cam Ward as the odds-on favorite to go number 1 overall. There's more momentum right now, according to Vegas, of CB's Brownies drafting Abdul Carter and then the Giants drafting Shedeur at 3. So they may, if that's what Deion wants, and who knows? Who knows? It's headed that way, according to Vegas right now.
Let me ask you guys this question. ESPN Cleveland tweeted out, let me see if it's still there. Before I click on it, because I'll click on it and say, something's up. It's disappeared. ESPN Cleveland typed on their Twitter page, typed out the quote, "We are hoping for New York." Then it says, Deion Sanders, when asked where he wants Shedeur Sanders to get drafted. And they didn't even attribute it. This is ESPN Cleveland, didn't even attribute it to a reporter. And I click on it, it's still there. So what would they have been thinking?
I don't know. If Prime says it's a lie, I'm going to roll with him that he didn't say that.
I'm okay with them retweeting it. But why would they take the quote unless they were there? As they took it as their own. CB, do you see what I'm talking about on ESPN Cleveland's Twitter page?
No, I agree. And I think this is a big enough statement that if there's a big crowd of people there, I think a lot more is coming out about this than just one source.
No doubt.
Like this.
No doubt.
But why would they take it as their own and retweet it?
I don't know.
As a possible something that didn't happen.
Yeah, who knows?
I mean, I know quickly knee-jerk reaction in Cleveland. He doesn't want him to go to Cleveland. Big story for us. Let's talk about it. So they took it as fact. But they haven't taken that down yet. ESPN Cleveland hasn't. So we will see. But you said Deion's already backed off.
Yes, that was a comment on an Instagram post about it.
All right. We'll stay with quarterbacks for 1,000, Alex, when we come back. Brady breaking his silence on his relationship with Belichick. We'll give you the details next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We know everything about you. We know you love the Buckeyes. We know you love the Jackets. We know you're wearing a red shirt. I just freaked the hell out of someone. The Fan.
Raising Cane's is celebrating our golden birthday year. Join the party with Golden Chicken Fingers and a limited edition Golden Blush Puppy that benefits local pet organizations. Get yours while supplies last. See RaisingCanes.com for details. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, Go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Hey friends, Beamer here. I've got to tell you, losing almost 70 pounds with Awaken 180 has absolutely changed my life. My motivation from the start, it was crystal clear. Get healthy, be more active, and become the dad that I wanted to be. All thanks to Awaken 180, well, that mission has been accomplished and then some. This program didn't just help me drop the weight, it completely reshaped my relationship with food. I've learned so much about nutrition and eating healthier, it just comes naturally now. Everything's easier, whether I'm running around after the little guy, hopping on a plane, middle seat, that's no problem. I've avoided that for years. That's not ideal, but I could do it. Life just seems a little more accessible now. And the best part, hands down, being active with my son. More energetic, more involved, fully present for every moment with my family. Trust me, nothing beats that feeling. And if you're ready to make that kind of a change for your health, your family, and your life, call Awaken 180 today, 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com. Again, that is 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Here's 3 reasons to buy your Blue Jackets ticket plans for the 25-26 season. 1, pick your seat and pick your games. 2, plans start at just 11 games. 3, priority access to Stanley Cup playoff tickets. Act now. Visit bluejackets.com/tickets.
The best matchup is you in a new ride at Coughlin Chevrolet, Central Ohio's #1 Chevy dealer. Lease a new 25 Chevy Trax, $149 a month. Your choice, new 25 Trailblazer or 24 Blazer EV RS. Lease for $169 a month. At all 5 Coughlin Chevy locations and CoughlinChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive.
Coughlin has the car for you.
36, 42, and 24-month leases, 10,000 miles per year, 25 cents per mile over, $39.99 due at signing plus tax, title, and license. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/25.
The Fan app is about to become your new best friend. Your one-stop shop for all your favorite fan shows. ESPN Columbus and BetQL. Live or on demand, listen on your schedule. Download the 97.1 The Fan app today. It's free. Do it.
This is Pause Before You Play, and it's time for more game day picks from local sports fans. You're on the air. Who you got?
Actually, I'm not betting. Just chilling and watching the game.
I know that move. A pause. Sounds like you've got a winning strategy.
Exactly. After I set limits and recognized the risk, I knew it was time to stop.
Now that is responsible betting, folks. Sports are fast. Betting shouldn't be. Make a plan at pausebeforeyouplay.org. That's pausebeforeyouplay.org.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens with your latest forecast. We're looking at temperatures in the mid-50s this afternoon with a mix of sun and clouds. We'll watch skies clear as we head through this evening. Temperatures falling to the low 30s. 50 your high Wednesday. More sunshine. We'll be back in the mid-50s Thursday. Have a small chance for some light rain showers. Temperatures out there will make their way into the 60s Friday as rain showers become more widespread. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice on 97.1 The Fan.
Can't get away, and I love it. All right, so we just hit the Deion Sanders mystery machine on whether he really was in Chicago saying that he hopes Shedeur goes to New York. That dude's tweet is nowhere to be found, so we're going to chalk this up to it didn't happen or the context was off. And I can't even find who that dude is. I understand why people, when they heard it, but there was no video. It was just a picture, and I could see why somebody wanted to pull a prank on everybody because it's a popular name, popular kid, and it doesn't mean that it wouldn't be a good fit for him. It just doesn't mean his dad said publicly that we're hoping that happens.
You know, I got an email when we were headed to break from one of our listeners, and he said, just heard you talking. I was at the Pro Mat in Chicago as well. Deion started going down a path talking about Shedeur and where he would go in the draft. And then he stopped himself and said, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to create news and have anything go viral. So he actually did not say anything. He stopped himself. So somebody that listens to our show is apparently in that room when Deion was speaking and said that, he did not say.
Can he send you some picture evidence?
I would love that.
So we know that he really was there.
Because this would have been picked up on ESPN, NFL Network, like the video of him saying, we are hoping for New York would have been headline news if this actually happened.
And the fact that no one of massive authority in the business has jumped on this.
Probably didn't happen.
Probably not. However, if it doesn't sound like it was a media thing. It was just people that were there.
Yeah.
But I guarantee that thing was recorded.
The speech?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what
Him
I'm saying.
sitting up there?
No doubt.
You have to. That had to be recorded by whoever was putting that on, and so they could have it and use it later or whatever they want to do with it.
Yeah, no doubt. I will say this. If Shedeur does end up with the New York Giants, you talk about an entertaining quarterback room, Shedeur and Jameis. Think about the stuff that would come out of those press conferences with those two guys. I'm here for it. I actually think we need that now. Jameis, I think, would be a really good mentor and teammate for Shedeur, but the entertainment value and the swag would be absolutely crazy between the two of those guys.
Brady broke a little silence on Belichick. I don't know if there's enough meat on this story, but I'll take you back for a second. And Maddie, you can tell me the quote on what Brady said. Seth Wickersham, who wrote the book, It's Better to Be Feared, was a reporter that had worked at ESPN for 20 years. He was there. So his entire career at ESPN was when the Patriots were dominating. And he wrote a story even before the book came out. He was trashed a lot of the time over his accusations. I think this happened a lot during the pandemic. Because I remember when we were remote, I was talking about this with Bobby. And I think we can all agree that Tom wanted a few things. He wanted more say. He probably wanted more weapons. He probably wanted to be loved more. And he probably wanted a contract that took him to age 45, which was always his goal. And I always come back to it's usually about the money, even though I just said other things were involved as well. But I'm here to tell you, I think if he would have gotten the contract that he really wanted, Maddie, I think he would have retired a Patriot. I do. I think he knew Bill wanted to move on from him for whatever reason, whether Bill wanted to prove he could win without Brady. He had drafted Garoppolo. He wanted to start developing him. We saw Garoppolo at least get to a Super Bowl with a good team. We knew he had what it took to probably win it all. Brady was at such a high level when they drafted Garoppolo that he couldn't start developing Jimmy because Tommy was still there. And so my gut tells me that there were many things that were percolating in this thing. When Brady won his 5th Super Bowl, he was 40 years old in 2017. And he always said he wanted to play till he was 45. Everybody thought he was nuts at the time, but they needed right then and there, after he won his 5th Super Bowl, if they signed him to a 5-year deal, we're going to take you to 45, that'll be it. I think it would have been fine. I do think, but you know what they gave him? They gave him a 2-year deal, which basically was a 1-year with a raise, and they gave him an out. And 48 hours later, after he signed that contract, he and Giselle are putting their home up for sale. So,
by the way, real quick, Giselle just new baby with Mr. Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, you nailed that. I thought that was just the friend to get her through a tough time. You were right.
She didn't waste any time.
That's a great prediction. That goes down. I told you Denver would sign Peyton Manning to get rid of Tebow Mania. That's mine. Yours is that was the guy. You called it very early.
It just didn't smell right. They were very friendly. You know, soon after the divorce and the breakup happened and all that stuff.
I thought he was just showing her the martial arts.
Oh, he was showing her some arts. He was showing her some arts, that's for sure. Now, hey, congrats to her. bringing a new child into the world. But yeah, that was pretty eye-opening, Giselle.
Yeah. The other part of this was when Tommy had his own trainer, that Guerrero guy.
Yeah.
And the business that Tommy was building at the time, this TB12, from what I remember, the offices were like almost across the street from Gillette Stadium. So these players got all real caught in the middle, if you remember. Well, do we go to TB12 docs? Do we go to the team docs? And Bill started to draw these clear lines. Like Alex Guerrero was not an employee of the New England Patriots. Yes, he was your legendary quarterback's guy, but should he have access to team facilities and everything and everyone?
Yes.
And kind of infiltrate the other players?
To me, yes.
See, Tommy, yes.
Tom gets whatever he wants when he plays at the level that he was playing.
That's how I would run things. The Patriot way was not just Brady.
There's
it
no
was
Patriot
influenced
way
by Bill.
There's no Patriot way without Tom Brady. None of it works without Tom.
Well, the Patriot way, though, yes, from a talent standpoint, you're right. But from a culture standpoint, that's Bill.
It falls flat without number 12. I always sided with Tom. He had to go out there and do his thing. Bill had a reputation of wanting to get rid of guys when he thought they were a year or two away from falling off a cliff. He made the wrong bet. Everything post Tom Brady leaving New England was not good for Bill Belichick, and he didn't look any better when it came to some of the offensive decisions that he tried to make, whether that was his coaching staff, whether that was players at the quarterback position or on offense. It wasn't a good look for Bill. Dude's one of the best ever. We all know that. But Tom won when he went to Tampa and won a Super Bowl and was absolutely cooking. So Tom the other day dropped a quote that said, "For me, it was a creeping decision that lived passively in the back of my mind for 2 to 3 years until March of 2020, when a whirlwind of a few days made me realize that a decision was coming sooner rather than later. The reality was, after 20 years together, a natural tension had developed between where Coach Belichick and I were headed in our careers and where the Patriots were moving as a franchise. It was the kind of tension that could only be resolved by some kind of split or one of us reassessing our priorities," end quote.
So the natural tension to me is correct. However, I think it's unnatural for them to be that successful and want to split. But I do think that it's exactly what I said earlier. It was the contract. It was the belief. It was the I've always taken less. Where's mine? We've already won 5. Where's my deal? And that 2-year with the 1-year raise, I think sent this thing down the track of how can you not be bowing down to me right now?
Yeah.
We're a team. We're doing this together. Tom wanted more. He also wanted to be loved. I think we knew that. I think
he deserved that.
And I think if they were to sign him to a 5-year contract when he was 40, but that's very unnatural to do that at that time. Signing a 40-year-old to a 5-year deal, it was 1 of 1 with Tom. That's my feel. I'm sticking with it. They're different people. I think they had each something to prove. This is no different than a successful music band having hit after hit after hit and the lead singer wanting to go solo. It's the same thing.
It's Beyonce and Destiny's Child.
Oh, Destiny.
That's what it was. Beyonce said, "You know what, Kelly, Michelle, I'm good. You're going to say my name. But you're going to say my name with all my other hits I'm making solo."
Yeah, that's what happens when you are the lead singer. You get most. And he went and proved it.
Yeah, he did.
Maybe his solo career would have flopped. Who knows? It did not. We come back with our friend Pete Fiutak. Are the Buckeyes the team in the Big Ten still, with this team coming back? We'll ask Pete Fiutak next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi, golf's newest league. It's sharp and it's electric. How is it sharp? How is it electric? Good questions. Try this on for size. 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, playoffs on the line, golf. With 24 of the best players from the PGA Tour. Split into 6 teams. Atlanta, Boston, Jupiter, LA, New York, and the Bay. This isn't your average Sunday pickup game. Tune in every week for TGL matches, only on ESPN. Keep up. It's golf.
Evan Cohen here. Picking a place to build a life is a lot like selecting a draft pick. Make a decision that will set you up for long-term success. Pick Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, you'll find dynamic career opportunities, beautiful seasons, affordable living, and legendary weekends. From its high quality of life and great schools to its fine arts, culinary, and pro sports scenes, Wisconsin gives you so much to look forward to. That's why you should pick Wisconsin. Learn more about making Wisconsin your home. Visit pickwisconsin.com.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade
lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Anthony used to ski in his jeans? Are you serious? No, he's not from New Jersey. Back to Rothman and Ice.
All right, back at it, talking college ball with one of our favorites, our man Pete Fiutak. And he is the publisher of CollegeFootballNews.com, one of the best sites out there. Pete, good to have you back, my man.
How you doing?
We're doing great. It's spring ball. Buckeyes coming off an epic run, kind of a little bit of a reset, brand new quarterback, but feel pretty confident in Julian Sain. And then if the other guys make a run at him, so be it. The difference this year, Pete, is there's not that crazy runway. I know you can lose a big one and still get in the tournament. Ohio State proved that. But that Texas game, right out of the gate with a brand new quarterback, is going to be fairly massive. And so Ryan Day and Brian Hartline, they got to feel like they have it right in fall camp for sure to be ready for that game against the Longhorns.
Yeah, but to be honest, you can lose two. You know, like if you're Ohio State, there's going to be a lot more of a, especially if Texas is really Texas. I still don't buy into them. I don't know what it is. I just can't do it. But you know, if it happens, it happens. And if they do end up beating the Buckeyes, then and if Texas is that good, then it should be all right. You could probably drop another one, but if you're Ohio State, you're not planning on dropping another one along the way, even if something bad happens. So you could probably still get in if there's two. But to your point, you do have them at home, and if you're the defending national champs, you want to show right out of the gate that nothing stops, everything keeps on rolling, and obviously that's one of those games that the fan base is going to want to see right out of the gate.
What did you think of the Matt Patricia hire by Ryan Day, Pete?
Sure. You know what? I mean, again, you're getting NFL guys. I mean, that is one of the big differences that kind of gets lost in an NIL era, and the big the haves and have-nots is you can get a Chip Kelly, you can get a Matt Patricia, you can get top shelf coordinators. That's what Bama did for years and years and years by getting Sarkisian and Bill O'Brien and on and on and on. And if you're Ohio State, you just keep on taking guys who should fit and who obviously know what they're doing. That was the Mac Brown line where he lost, I believe it was Will Muschamp at the time. He's like, well, Texas, we're just going to go get another good defensive coordinator. Well, you're Ohio State. You just go get another, good coordinator to fix the glitches and take over for the other guys who are there. So we'll see. The bigger problem is going to be the overall makeup. I mean, last year at this time, I'm not that smart, but I picked Ohio State last January to win the national championship because everyone that they had back. So this time it's a lot more question marks. It just depends on how quickly all the parts can come together.
Would you pick him again, or would you pick? And I'm just talking Big Ten, not to win it all. Where are you on the Big Ten with Penn State and Ohio State and Oregon?
I'm not sold on Penn State. I mean, I know we're supposed to be. I know they're supposed to be preseason number 1, 2, or 3, but until it happens, I mean, again, talent is talent. I mean, that's the difference between when Alabama was humming and the Ohio States and the Georgias of the world is that when you replace players, you just replace them with new, better players, or new, good players. So you're fine. So it's just an experience factor. And you do go into the season, again, with a question mark. You don't have a you know who. I mean, Will Howard you kind of knew was pretty good. At the very least, he was experienced. Saying you're just starting from scratch here, at least a little bit. So there are a lot more question marks, but there's no obvious number one out there. Everyone's going to be picking Penn State or Texas. Georgia's still talented. Ohio State's still talented. So again, Big Ten, yeah, of course. But as I always say with you guys, yeah, I know everyone loves the Michigan game. That's important and all that. But, winning the national championship, yeah, Ohio State's right there in the mix. It should be in the mix talent-wise.
Thanks to Ohio State, Oregon went into the offseason with a bad taste in their mouth. Really good regular season for them. Obviously didn't get out of the playoff what they wanted, but now turning the page into 2025 with Dan Lanning and his crew. Your thoughts on Oregon and what they may be bringing to the field?
Yeah, same thing. I mean, they're still going to be good. They just don't quite have that one extra gear. And that's, we're seeing this now in the NCAA tournament where, either, you can have, there's like 6 teams right now where actually pretty much everyone other than maybe Arkansas, you can say, yeah, I can envision, even BYU getting hot and winning a national title. I mean, it's so much parity. In college football, either you got it or you don't. There's such a difference between, as good as Notre Dame was last year, they didn't have the guys Ohio State had. You either have the talent or you don't. And Oregon's got it to get close to the pin, but do they have those 2 or 3 extra guys? Do they have that depth? Do they have the overall program of a Georgia or an Ohio State? Not really. So, yeah, absolutely. I think nothing stops for them. Everything keeps on rolling when it comes to that offense and that team. They've got a whole lot of talent in place. But I do think that just about everyone's going to be picking Penn State or Ohio State to win the Big Ten. And watch out for Michigan. They're kind of quietly really good. I mean, they kind of built it back up. If Bryce Underwood is the real deal, then all of a sudden I think Michigan's right back in the mix too.
Well, you don't have to tell us to look out for him.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, we see him. What did you think? I know this comes off as routine, Pete, that Wisconsin gave Fickell another year on his deal. It's just the timing was a little weird. I know they like to do this, give out the 1-year extension to all the coaches after the season, consistency and all that. But he was 5-7, and they missed a bowl game for the first time in like 25 years or something like that. They got him through 2031. It was just, when I saw that, I was like, off of 5-7. Wonder why they handed that out. And it was only 1 year, but it was routine. What did you think of it?
I'm in year 27 coming up on doing this CFN thing. This is the thing I've never understood. Like, the thing that the agents have over the athletic directors, all they have to do is say, well, we have this place looking to take, our guy. Well, okay, well, if you lose Luke Fickell, you're not winning with him anyway. Just go get another great head coach. But there's no point to it because the party line used to be, well, we have to we have to lock up our head coach for recruiting but that doesn't count anymore because no one stays around instantly. So everyone's leaving for NIL deals and other sort of transfer things. So the idea that your recruiting class matters because Luke Fickell's probably not going to be there 5 years from now, and if he isn't, the players that he's recruiting aren't going to be there either. So I've never understood this. But yeah, I don't care who it is. You never, ever extend a coach's contract because every head coach is one loss to Michigan if you're Ryan Day or a 3-game losing streak away from being fired.
Yeah, it was weird timing.
So we have, a bit of a trend, Pete, going on around college football to where some programs are, moving on from spring games or tweaking the spring game to make it more of like a practice type of vibe. I know Ryan Day spoke yesterday and he said, hey, I want to have a spring game. If they're healthy enough, that's how he wants to go about it. You got any thoughts on that, on some of these programs going away from tradition when it comes to the spring games?
I like the idea of building it up as a spring game, but not really, you don't really play the starters. You don't play the stars. You make it more of a fun exhibition for everybody. It's more for the fans just to kind of come out, and it's a promotional thing. And I get that. So I don't like the idea of coming out and putting your Heisman caliber, or All-American playmakers out there, because obviously you're one twisted knee away from disaster. But I kind of like that. And I don't like the idea of these other coaches doing it. They're going more to a pro-style camp because, look, college football is college football. It still is. I know we're trying to go NFL light with this, but the idea of saying that now we're just going to create these like NFL training camps, it's not as much fun.
I agree with you. I'm liking that Ohio State's doing it still, and whatever it's going to be when you get new quarterbacks and all that, it's kind of cool to see them slinging around in front of a lot of people, and a lot of people will be there for Ohio State. All right, my man. Great stuff as always, Pete Fiutak. Love talking to you, and CollegeFootballNews.com. Love the site, and we'll ring you back soon. Thanks, man.
Anytime, guys. Have a good one.
Peter was on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, guys, talking to you, 30s, 40s, 50s. You know your age. You may not be feeling your best. So what could that be? It could be a sign of low testosterone. You shouldn't wait anymore. You should find out. And at Low T Center, they're going to make it really easy. You get your levels checked. You've heard me say it before. There's power in the numbers. You've been curious. Find out where you are on that scale. And that way you can determine whether it may be something that could get you back to feeling your best. It's not a typical doctor's office. You'll make your appointment online at lowtcenter.com, and then you'll go in there, and you'll take the simple blood test, and you'll get the answer right then and there. And if you are low and want to hear the information, just know that the physicians specialize in treating low T with testosterone replacement therapy. They are the experts. They have more than a decade of experience. They've helped patients. And this is super important. Their personal treatment plans are optimized for every patient. You're not just a number on a sheet. You are a person, and they're going to guide you through the process. And it's not going to be a basic standard treatment. Get back to feeling your best. If you're a current patient and you refer a new patient, you'll get $150 referral credit. And at Low T Center, kind of one-stop shopping. If you know you've gained the LBs, you can get some health evaluation for treatment with prescription GLP-1 weight loss medications, if that's the angle you take. So just get back to feeling your best. It's time. Go to lowtcenter.com and book that appointment. lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. We come back with a Buckeye Bulletin, and he went in the portal one time to get to Ohio State. Well, the revolving door continues to swirl. Now he's leaving to go somewhere else. We'll give you the details. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We're the girthiest radio station in the history of radio. Uncomfortably girthy. This promo is uncomfortable. The Fan, Ohio's girth destination.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
He shoots. He scores! No matter your sport, it's a great time of year to be a fan. But the fun stops when you or a loved one can't control your gambling. At Maryhaven, we're here to help. Whether it's gambling, drugs, alcohol, or mental health, you don't have to go it alone. With in-person, virtual, and group options, Maryhaven meets you where you are. Always judgment-free. Go to maryhaven.com today. That's maryhaven.com.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Hey, it's Leslie from Pella Columbus.
I'm Wilson from that other window place.
Wilson, people are officially going crazy over our sleek, black-framed windows. They change the entire look of a home.
Leslie, nobody believes that just black frames can change the look of a home.
It's like when Superman put on his black-framed glasses and became Clark Kent.
Wait a second. Clark Kent is Superman? Are you messing with me right now?
Get the window that homeowners rated the leading window brand in Columbus at PellaColumbus.com.
March is on at Lindsay Honda.
Shoot your shot and save.
It's madness. You get to choose your finance rate on over 600 new Lindsay Hondas. 0%, 1.9, 2.9, and up to a full 60 months long. And no trade-in required. This deal works with zero down. March is on at Lindsay Honda. Save with rates as low as 0% at lindsayhonda.com.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
Scott to Scott's here. How did the grass feel when it woke up from winter? A little crabby. Get it? Crabgrass? Right now, there's a short window of time to apply Scott's Turf Builder Halts Crabgrass Preventer. It stops crabgrass before it invades and feeds your lawn for a fast green up after winter. Act now to prevent your grass from waking up crabby this spring. That joke never gets old. But trust me, crabgrass does.
Get a bag of Scott's Turf Builder Halt's Crabgrass Preventer with lawn food today.
Feed your lawn. Feed it.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-324-VEIN. That's 614-324-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
The tournament is underway. Is your bracket a big pile of trash like mine? Big voice guy took it on the chin this year. Anyway, check your standings in the Fan and 10 TV Bracket Challenge.
Sponsored by Mountain Dew, Ohio Bottled Buckeye Bowl.
The most accurate bracket, not mine, will take home $1,000. Check your progress at 971thefan.com. Wasting time has never been more fun. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Robinhood Gold members can now enjoy the VIP treatment, receiving a 3% IRA match on annual retirement contributions. With Robinhood Gold, the perks of the high net worth are now available for any net worth. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. To receive a 3% boost on annual IRA contributions, sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. 3% match requires Robinhood Gold $5 a month for 1 year from first match. Must keep funds in IRA for 5 years. Go to Robinhood.com/boost. Robinhood Financial LLC member SIPC. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC.
Something amazing is happening when power outages strike. Teams are powering through them. That's because CDW Solutions architects are building more resilient IT and electrical infrastructures with Schneider Electric. With EcoCare remote monitoring services and 24/7 support, your organization can do more than keep the lights on. Schneider Electric and CDW make amazing happen. Learn more at cdw.com/Schneider Electric.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Patriot Air Comfort Systems in Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep your home comfortable. The Fan.
Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another air conditioner breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day air installation.
This isn't a total shock. It's just one of those that, you know, you kind of read between the lines. You see the production or lack thereof. It doesn't matter whether it's a good kid or he gives a lot of effort and had sparks at times, which I saw. It's just, this is big business now, college hoops. And if Ohio State's going to get to a level where they're kind of a big dance team perennially, like, you know, they need to invest in it and they need to tap in and find the right guys. And when Evan Mahaffey got here, you know, I thought, okay, Ohio kid, we put a lot on that. But he went to Penn State out of the gate and then transferred to Ohio State. Small forward for the Buckeyes. He's playing 20-plus minutes a game. And, you know, but the offensive production, I mean, you can just look at it like 4 points, maybe an assist or two. And it's just when Micah Parrish came in and kind of became the guy in what they were doing, Matty, with the three guards, then
took his spot.
Yeah, that's it. And that's why I say it's like it's big business. And so that's where we are. He joins Austin Parks as number 2 to get into the portal for Ohio State. And so now you have Mahaffey in the portal, Austin Parks gone, Parrish out of eligibility. So Devin Royal obviously is the guy they're looking for.
You got to get some wings, man. I'm not talking all flat to well done. I'm talking wings out there on the floor that can get it done on the hardwood. Because outside of Royal, you don't have a lot of experience there. You don't have a lot of bodies there. So it definitely feels to me that, you know, through that transfer portal, hopefully we get news that Coach Debo and his staff can acquire a guy, maybe a couple guys that can come in and help you out there, because Royal's just going to continue to get better and better. I mean, he really ascended this year, took his game to higher heights, and even next year I'm just expecting so much more from him. But, yeah, you want to make sure you got some size out there on the wing, and right now I think they're a little light there, AR. So, yeah, wish Evan well, like you said off the top. Had some sparks here and there, never was really anything consistent on the offensive end. he was one of those guys that, it was a bit of a grind, right, from him. You didn't really know what you were getting, so maybe he'll go elsewhere, get more opportunities to figure it out there. But as far as what Ohio State's got to do, they're going to make some noise in that portal and get some right-now talent.
All right, we get back to football. Brian Hartline, you heard him live on our show yesterday, and we'll kind of tap back into that for a second. And now that he's the offensive coordinator and not just focused on receivers, and they just lost Travion Henderson and Quinshon Judkins, they're going to lose them to the NFL. He started talking about that depth in the backfield.
Having depth at that position is really critical, whether it be at our level or the NFL level. You guys kind of see it every week, every year. It's a longer season. It's more like the NFL, frankly, from a snap count, game plan, games, opportunities. So to have depth, it's really important to keep guys healthy. And then if you do have an injury, you have guys that can step in and still carry that workload. I know we feel really good about the guys we have here, and we'll have some younger guys, that need to continue to grow and provide, that depth over time. But I think having multiple guys in that room do multiple things is always important. That's just good football.
And I think, too, if you are Coach Lachlan, Locke as they call him over there, one thing that you sell is just look at what we accomplished last year as a team, but within our own running back room, look at what two guys were able to get done and how they were perceived. What Quinshon came in, tremendous stuff down there at Ole Miss. He was already stamped, as was Travion, with what he was able to do a few years here in Columbus. But that specific position, man, like you can go 3, maybe 4 deep throughout the regular season and have guys feeling fresh, especially when the expectation is that you're going to be one of the last teams standing. So that running back room, sounds like they're excited about it. And with C.J. Donaldson coming in, James Peoples over there, Bo Jackson, you got some other guys too that are ready to rock and roll with Coach Locke leading that room. Shouldn't be much of a drop-off from that unit at all this year. I'm expecting big things from that running back room. That can really help a quarterback, especially a young quarterback early on, right? Just kind of ease his way into maybe some of the offensive production instead of having to be Superman right out of the gate. So hopefully that game can get it done early and start setting the tone week 1 against Texas.
Well, with some quick math, they had 2 guys, one guy with almost 200 carries and Judkins and Travion with almost 150. Quarterback swallowed up 105 carries. So if you take some of those off, Peoples had 49 carries. But 2 of the guys, Quinshon and Travion, so 200, 150, so let's just call it 350, and they had, 500-plus carries. So over 60% of the carries went to those 2 guys.
Yep.
And they did carry the load, and they both became 1,000-yard rushers. And so it is kind of cool that Peoples, of the 50 carries he had, he was averaging 4 yards a carry. So when he becomes the guy, and they feed him a little more, and unless it's Donaldson too, or it's a combo platter, what we saw last year, they had 2 stars, and those guys shine, and they managed them really, really well. And they both had reasons to want the other guy in the backfield with them. Mm-hmm. So that worked out great.
And also, go ahead, Art.
No, I was just gonna say about the wide receivers, which is Hartline's forte. And he was asked yesterday about maybe putting guys in specific places, and he's not about that.
I think Brandon and Bryson are doing a great job playing the slot. I think that they just want to keep growing from an experience standpoint. You can't be put in enough situations that mimic a game-like environment. So trying to find ways to do that so they feel like they're getting more and more game reps. But, that's kind of their primary spot, but everybody has kind of a secondary spot, right? At the end of the day, like we've done here at Ohio State, receiver-wise, best players play. When guys go down, I don't care, where you primarily are playing, but if we have an outside guy go down, you better be able to go out there and play some football.
Yeah, that's right. And they lose a Mecca. So while you still have Jeremiah Smith, the best in the nation, and Carnell Tate, who we've seen a lot, they do want that to be as much of a 3-headed monster as possible.
Versatility within your wide receiver room can stress out a defensive coordinator where guys can line up in different spots. It's just going to do more for you as an offense.
All right. That is today's Buckeye Bulletin.
Fellas, you know who else can do more for you? It's the Columbus Men's Clinic, because they are the largest and most experienced men's health practice right here in Columbus. And for a decade, guys, the Columbus Men's Clinic have done some tremendous things all day, every single day. It's all they specialize in, and they've gotten so much better over the years with higher success rates, better administrative and medical staff, more treatments, and more happy patients, which is all they care about. It's really good stuff over there. Guys, I wouldn't steer you in the wrong direction. Their ED and low T and weight loss treatments truly change lives, and their experience makes the difference. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400, or go online to ColumbusMen'sClinic.com to book an appointment today. ColumbusMen'sClinic.com.
We come back, top of the hour Sports Center update here, and we get into true or false. Play along. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
I found a fountain of youth down there at QC Kinetics.
That's Henry Hinton, feeling like his young, active self again after treatments at QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in regenerative medicine.
I still have trouble walking down steps as I get older. I've had one treatment so far, and I can already tell a difference in my knee.
And that treatment at QC Kinetics used Henry's own natural healing properties, concentrated and placed right at the source of the pain. So Henry and patients just like him will enjoy long-term relief without surgery or downtime.
My knee is not hurting. I remember I was walking down some steps yesterday, and I thought, wow, this is not hurting when I walk down steps. I'm all in on it. I'm all in on QC Kinetics.
It's time to wind back the clock to days without constant joint pain. Start with a call to QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544.
Hey, it's Anthony, and I've got a fitting personalized for you. From the moment you walk in the Good Feet store, they're going to take the time to understand your unique lifestyle, your daily routines, and most importantly, the pain that brought you in to see them in the first place. If your feet ache after a long day or that discomfort starts radiating through your knees, your hips, your back, I've been there. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And they're working for me. I walked all over the place in New Orleans covering the big game. I was loving it. I literally was walking for miles around the French Quarter, Canal Street, everywhere, because I had my personally fit arch supports in my shoes. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people get back to feeling comfort on a daily basis. I want you to be one of them. Go in, take the free test walk. They're immediately available. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or goodfeet.com.
At Meijer, we work hard to bring more of the good life to your life so you can bring home more perfectly plump and flavorful produce picked for precise freshness, beautifully marbled beyond brag-worthy certified Angus beef, and more must-have money-saving M-Perks rewards. Because saving more on local favorites is good, but bringing home more of what you love in every trip, that's the good life. We do more to make life a good deal better at Meijer.
The best matchup is you in a new Kia from Coughlin Kia. Get into a new Kia now with $0 down. Get 0% financing on select new Kias and make 0 payments for 3 months on any new Kia in stock. Visit CoughlinKia.com.
0% for 72 equals $13.89 per 1,000 financed on Nero EV, EV6, and EV9 with approved credit through Kia Motor Finance. 90 days deferred payments until June 2025. Qualified manufacturer incentives to dealer. Prior sales excluded. No security deposit. Residency restrictions may apply. Offers cannot be combined. See dealer for details. Ends 3/31/25.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint.
Let's trade lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone, any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Number 3030.
Switching to Progressive is a game-winning call.
And that reminds us of other game-winning calls in the history of sports.
So it was the fourth quarter and we're down by 5. Sweat pouring down my face. Suddenly it hit me. If only I could wrap part of the towel around my forehead. And that's how I became the first basketball player to wear a headband.
Okay, not really a game-winning call, but it was a good call. You can make one too. Switch to Progressive and you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states.
Finding the right employee for your company is tough. One wrong hire can be a major setback. You're not alone if you face this. A recent survey by Robert Half shows nearly half of hiring managers readily admit to making a bad hire. Luckily, there's a solution. With Robert Half's specialized recruiter's experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can have the right skilled professional in place quickly. We understand what it takes to build winning teams because at Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartimus. The Blue Jackets snapped their skid of 6 straight losses last night. They went into Long Island and defeated the New York Islanders 4-3. The most impressive part was that the Jackets were down 2-0 at the end of the first period and still won. Adam Fantilli had himself a game. He scored a goal both in regulation and in the shootout. Sean Monahan had a couple assists, and now the CBJ are only 2 points out of that second wildcard spot in the East. They will next play on Friday, so it'll be a while, but that Jackets-Canucks game will be able to be heard right here on 97.1. And today's the last day of spring training. There will be no baseball whatsoever tomorrow as everyone is getting ready for opening day on Thursday. The Reds will host the Giants, and the Guardians will begin the year in KC. This update is sponsored by Dr. Mark Levy. If you're snoring and not sleeping, call Dr. Mark Levy's office at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP, or you can check him out online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. Breaking sports news on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Low T Center. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, back at it, final hour. We'll talk Buckeye football with Dan Hope of 11 Warriors, bottom of the hour. And we'll get into a Jackets with just a massive win last night. Just down 2-0, the way they had to do it, against the team they had to do it. Where they had to do it, a place they hadn't won, being down 2-0, couple of calls that didn't go their way early in the game, middle of the game. Got a call, I thought, at the end of the game, which is fine. You never apologize for that. The way the NHL has been calling goalie interference, while it's been consistently inconsistent in my mind, that it's one of those things where I always come back to that they are backing their dudes on the ice. And when that got emphatically waved off, the league says, it goes to Toronto in the final minute. And if it's not 100% conclusive, then they have to have no doubt that it was the wrong call. So they stick with the call on the ice. And if that's called a goal, in my mind, they stick with it. It was called no goal, so they stuck with it. And did they get a gift? Sure. They took advantage of it. That was the greatest thing about it. I've always done on this show, I've always tried to be very objective with this. If the uniforms were switched, what would I be saying? Would I be looking through my objective eyes, or would I be leaning into emotion? And if that would have happened on the other end with 9 seconds to go, exactly reversed, it's torches to Toronto. I think that this fan base would have said, this league has had a conspiracy against us since we've been in existence. And if they would reverse the call, it happened on the other end. That's how innocent I thought that play was at the end. And to my own eyes, doesn't mean that Palmieri didn't come in and skate him a little bit and then got into the white ice, and then Elvis kind of goes out and initiates contact. My tiebreaker is always going to be John Davidson, a guy who was as good in goal as anybody. Yeah. And the fact that he was on the broadcast and thought Elvis had time to reset and was very happy the call went the Jackets' way. However, didn't see anything egregious or a major infraction. What I love about that game last night was, they got the break at the end. They didn't settle for that point. And overtime was amazing. The pressure they put on the Islanders in the third period. There was so much possession. In fact, Maddie, I can't remember an overtime that I've watched where the Jackets have had that much possession in overtime, which is always the key. Boone had a chance at the horn. Sorokin gloved him. Once they got into the shootout, when Anthony Duclair fumbled that puck, I thought, all right, maybe it's leaning their way. KJ got stopped. Palmieri got stopped. Fance, the backhand was a beauty. And then Horvat misses, and away you go. Elvis was fantastic. Congrats to you. You stood on your head. You've been tested all season. Just came off having another baby. Not in perfect rhythm. Had to get thrown in there back-to-back and then play against the Islanders. They're riding him right now. They need to. So way to go, Elvis. I thought that game had every bit of what you'd want in a gutty performance. And the most important thing I can say right now is that they won the damn game, because these moral victories in the last couple here have been a little hard to take.
Not good enough, the moral victories. The legitimate dubs is exactly what we need. And hopefully more of those are coming our way. Yeah, third period, man, they really cranked it up to a whole nother level. And that was good to see. You outshot them 17-14 in that period, got it to overtime.
I think, right?
I'm sorry, 17-4.
Yeah.
Thank you, AR. In that period there, you got it to overtime. Elvis makes a tremendous save in overtime there, and then Fantilli does his thing with the shootout early in the game, too. He lets go of a sniper there and just absolutely lights up the back of the net. So, yeah, within this game, some really good things that hopefully they can build off of. It's cool to see that the Jackets this year are 5-1 in shootouts, so when they get to that portion of the game, if they have to get to that portion of the game, they handle business there more times than not. So you're a couple points out of that wild card spot, that second wild card spot right now. Just got to keep grinding, and we know this team has it in them. You got some reinforcements back with Monahan and Cabranton yesterday. So that's tremendous stuff. And that's what you want to see. But now it's just about catching momentum again, the way that they did coming out of Four Nations. We know it's in there. We knew that they were going to go through a tough portion of the schedule, and they took some on the chin. They did, but they still have an opportunity to get to where you want to get to, and that's the postseason and figuring it out from there, because there's crazy things that happen all the time in sports. And if you're a team that can ride a hot wave going into the postseason, you just never know what could happen. So, yeah, no doubt AR must have yesterday, and they had to earn it because they found themselves in a hole again, which is another unfortunate trend that's happening. But at the end of the day, the end result is the points and the win.
Couple of aggressive mistakes, I would call them, on trying to get the puck in the offensive zone, kind of bungling at the blue line. I saw a couple of those early. It kind of threw them off their game, and they got down 2-0. And the most important part about that is they're going on the kill, down 2-0, and they got to get out of that, and they did. And then Fance made a 2-1 from the left circle, and then all of a sudden you're in the game again, and they played their butts off last night. Monahan, as you mentioned, put Lee on his butt, so they were playing physical, and so they've showed me, and I think they showed the fan base, some proof of life last night, that they're not just going to wilt under the pressure, and they're going to play this thing out all the way to the end. They get Vancouver on Friday, and they'll be fighting as well, so it should be a good game. All right, CB, take it away. A little true or false. Under a slate gray sky, a ragtag group of renegades. What do you got, my man?
All right, the first one, we will start in Cleveland. I originally just wanted to ask about Kenny Pickett, but I will make this a little different. True or false, at least 3 quarterbacks will start a game for the Browns this season?
3.
Is there even 3 in the room right now?
I was going to add, so the veteran they sign, whoever that's going to be.
Who's in the room right now? Pickett and who else?
Quarterback to be named later.
Exactly. 3 quarterbacks.
CB was going to say.
They easily did this last year.
They did.
Well, you said he's the only one. Deshaun's still in the room, correct?
Yeah, but I mean, in terms of
he's on the payroll.
No one's expecting him to be healthy enough to play this year. So, in terms of healthy quarterbacks to play in 2025, he's the only one.
So if they sign a veteran, like if they got Cousins or they got Russ, they'll be an instant starter, right? If they're healthy, they're an instant starter. They don't have to beat out Pickett. There's nothing like that. They wouldn't even have to beat out the draft pick if it's Shedeur or somebody else. I think Cousins or Russ would probably start.
That's an interesting conversation there.
And we can wait and have it.
If Russ or Kirk are there,
Shedeur's not starting over them.
I think. I don't even. Oh, that's interesting. I don't think they would bring in another quarterback if their plans are to draft Shedeur at 2.
Mm-hmm. Depends how cheap they can get him. I'm going to say, you said 3. Boy, that's rough. It's the Browns, though, so I'll say yes.
Man, 3, because it could be a couple different things. It could
17-game season.
Bad play, injuries.
That's right.
It could be all of that.
And we don't even know who the starter is, so at least we're going into it feeling like it could be.
Which would be more surprising? One guy starts all 17 or 3 quarterbacks start one game?
The former, CB. Yeah. One guy starting all 17 games. I think we definitely see Kenny Two Gloves this year. I don't know, CB. There's some Mr. Unlimited stuff happening.
Yeah, that's right.
And lurking in the weeds right now for your Brownies, and I'm kind of here for it.
Mr. Unlimited.
You bring in Abdul, and then you bring in Mr. Unlimited? I mean, you know what you're getting. Eventually, he's probably going to fall off with his play, but I'm going to roll with AR on this. I'm going to say, there's going to be 3 guys.
You're a solid 8-win team with those guys.
We'll see about that. Number 2. True or false? If the Giants pass on Sanders, the Raiders would be the next team to pick him.
Giants pass. I could see that happening. They're picking 6, CB, top of my head. The Raiders, I believe. Well, have that Raiders at the Jets,
that sounds right. I think they are 6.
Mm-hmm. They absolutely need a guy that's going to be a long-term fit. New England and Jacksonville don't need quarterbacks. Yeah, I'm going to say AR. He'd be a Raider.
Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly.
They just signed Geno, but that's not their long-term. They traded for Geno, I should say. Yeah. That's not their long-term plan. But when you factor in the money that they are paying Geno, that makes it a little funky. It does.
I know who they. I think I know who they want.
The Raiders.
I think they want Ashton Genty, and I think they get him. I think they would go that high to get him. But you brought in just a crazy situation as if Shedeur slips past
the Giants,
which means he would go past Cleveland as well.
That means
the Raiders think, what do they know? We don't, because those are quarterback needy teams, and they passed on him. So do they look at that as great value that he slipped, or they look at it as, why wouldn't they have taken him?
I'd look at it as great value.
All right, I'm going to say yes. If he slips to 6, they take him. If he's gone, they'll go Genty.
Like the fake GM for the Jaguars when Bo Callahan slipped in the draft.
That's right.
Let's do one more real quick. So the White Sox won 41 games last season.
Do you have more true or false, though? Can we continue?
We can roll it over, but I'll do one of my favorite ones here.
All right.
The White Sox, they had 41 wins last season. True or false? Books have them at 53.5 over-under. True or false? They will go under that 53.5 again.
Yeah, they're going under. Royals, Guardians, Tigers all got better to me this offseason. And they're eventually going to trade what I think is their best player, Luis Robert. They haven't even done that yet. So, I'm going under.
Do you know how many teams in Major League Baseball history that have lost 109 games in a season?
2.
No, like 32. But that's still not many. All right? So, here's what I would say. They're trash. But 53 wins would be a 12-win improvement. Am I wrong? So, as bad as they are, they're going to win 54.
You think?
Yeah, as bad as they are, I think. Yeah, I think that somehow, yes, they're bad, but they can't be that bad again. And so
I don't know. They ain't got any dudes. They got any dudes?
Where's Louis Robert?
He's there, but you got to flip him.
Do you know somebody in my league wanted to trade for him? He's just throwing me some middling starting pitching. And I'm like, no, if you're trying to fleece me this early before the season, I know something's wrong.
He's got MVP talent. He's just never healthy.
They got to go 54 and 108 or whatever, if I added that up correctly.
Bybee and J-Ram got something for him.
54 and 108? Yeah. That's 162. All right, that's my prediction. 54 and 108. Okay. We'll come back with more. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
The sound of Paul Keels calling a Buckeye game is erotic.
Oh, yes.
Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Master Grillers Unite. The grilling season never ends at Billiards Plus. Come see their best-in-class grills for yourself and check out Central Ohio's largest selection of pool tables, game furniture, and shuffleboard. Family-owned and operated. Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off of closing costs. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
There's a new way to surround yourself with savings at Giant Eagle and Market District. Shop Giant Eagle's uncompromising quality at a reliable price with everyday savings. Look for signs throughout the store to find bargains on produce, meat, and more. Visit Giant Eagle to see how easy it is to save.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I totally get it. But the good news is there are alternatives to the CPAP machine. And Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and of course, stops your snoring. That's the main point. It's quick and comfortable and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and now he's expanding his practice to better serve his patients with a brand new location in Marysville. I love Marysville. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. Do not delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. You can also visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. And now, sleepbettermarysville.com too.
Breaking news coming in. Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio.
Most radio stations suck. Here's why. They don't invest in local programming. We're live and local 14 hours a day. You can rest assured that every stupid thing we say is 100% local. Homegrown dumb since day one. The Fan.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy real estate as is, fast for cash. Do you want to sell your property, however, you need a little help getting through the process? Let's say you have years of belongings in the home. It needs a lot of updating, you're overwhelmed, you might not be big on technology, and you may need help finding a place to go. I will help you. Maybe you've gone through a divorce or a bad breakup or a relative moved out. It's been hard, and you just want to take what you want and leave the rest behind. I will help you. Retiring and want to sell your commercial properties or land. I will help you. Sellers, whether you're selling as is or selling for top dollar, you're no longer alone. Visit us today at TurboTrackRealty.com or call me now for an all-cash offer and, more importantly, the help you need at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hey there, Central Ohio. I'm 10 Weather Impact meteorologist Michael Behrens with your latest forecast. Temperatures in the mid to low 50s this afternoon with a mix of sun and clouds. Skies clear tonight. Temperatures will fall down to around 30 degrees. We'll be back up near 50 for Wednesday, mostly sunny. Back into the mid 50s Thursday, though we could see a few scattered showers across the region. Temperatures out there will be in the 60s by Friday, with rain chances becoming more widespread. That's your latest 10 Weather Impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Michael Behrens on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365, the official online sports book of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by Newman Roofing. Call Newman Roofing today at 614-NEW-ROOF. That's 614-NEW-ROOF. Or visit online at newmanroofing.com.
All right, a little Bet365 time.
Let's talk about it, AR, because at Bet365, We don't do ordinary. They've launched a new sign-up offer that's really, really cool. You bet $5, folks. You get $150 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Customers will receive bonus bets after signing up. Hey, I've been looking at some futures, for Major League Baseball. The season starts Thursday, which is absolutely crazy, but I'm here for it. I was looking at some teams that could win it all this year. I don't think it's very smart to sprinkle much money on NL teams to win the World Series because I believe that the Dodgers will absolutely get to the World Series unless just they get crushed with injuries. Their roster is silly how good it is. So you look at the American League side of things, and I like the value right now on the Boston Red Sox to win the World Series. The addition of Garrett Crochet. You bring in Alex.
He's good.
He's an absolute monster. He might mess around and win the Cy Young this year. You bring in Alex Bregman, who knows how to win, and they've got some prospects coming up that a lot of people are very, very high on. But the major league players that they have can go, and Alex Cora is a dude. He knows what it takes as a manager to win. So 18-1 right now for the Boston Red Sox. I'm going to put a little sprinkle on them to win the World Series.
I don't think I have any Bo Sox in fantasy this year. Just didn't fall that way for me. Do you?
Yeah, I got Tristan Casas.
Okay.
Power hitting little.
Oh no, you know what? Tanner Hawk,
pretty good pitcher.
Yeah. I think because he. By the way, very bad spring training ending. I don't know if you put any.
Don't read into that.
It was not good. I mean, very bad actually, awful. So we'll see. So I do own one Bo Sox. So maybe you. Spoke that into existence for me. By the way, a little pat on the back, boys. Yesterday, I said the only way to get the Jackets back was I said this on purpose. CB could have pulled the clip. I go, I'm betting into the Islanders tonight. That was it. I told you on the air yesterday. I go, the only way to turn this thing, either I fly there, strip down, and run out to the middle of the ice and change momentum. Or I bet into the Islanders. It's the only way this is going to happen.
To you.
And I did,
over there.
And I would have won both.
Yeah.
But I made an idiotic move.
Uh-oh.
You know my classic move, which is both teams not to score in the first 10 minutes. Check. Ding. Got that one. I took the Islanders, and I teased them actually to plus a goal and a half so that we could root for the Jackets. But then I made a horrible move. I bet that the game would end in regulation.
Oh, no.
Yeah. But I did bet into the Islanders for us, so got her done. I do like this. I don't know what you guys think about it. I was just scanning some of the March Madness games for coming up for Thursday. I think I want to take a chance on this Arkansas team.
Okay.
It's not easy, believe me. This team was left for dead. Who knows whether they were going to make the NIT at one time. But I'm kind of looking at the vibes going on with that team, how they boarded against St. John's. And we'll see if they can handle Tech down low as well. I just feel like grabbing them in the 5.5 seems appropriate right now. So I'm going to do it.
Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Today, 21 plus only. You must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Offer subject to meeting qualifying criteria.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right, so CB has prepared some of these true or falses, and he's got more for us.
I do have a few more for you.
Okay.
Well, a few more, but the 49ers, true or false, they will trade Brandon Ayuk this offseason.
Again? What I mean by that is...
Well, the rumors have been pretty hot around his name, and I think the Browns have also been a name surrounding him.
Why would they do this?
Because he's not the same guy he used to be, and he's coming off a torn ACL. That would be...
The explanation has been that the contract has caused some issues with their roster and why they lost so many guys because of it.
They already traded Debo.
Why did you sign him then? They knew this was coming. That's a head-scratcher for me.
So you brought up something very important. I do think that's a good point. Because what do guys hate just as much as losing?
The franchise tag.
No. I mean, like front offices. They love it. they hate looking and admitting they were wrong.
Yeah.
That's the second worst part of losing. And so I think if they traded Ayuk, they'd have to admit that they made a huge mistake in signing him to that big money deal, and that it's best to move on without him. It would cost them. I mean, here's the other problem. What they hate, and this is maybe the third part. When you have $50 million that you're on your books of guys that aren't even on your team, like, that's brutal. I don't know where this would go. The only reason I would lean into it's still possible is that they had a deal in place, as CB was talking about, to send him to the Browns for Amari Cooper and some picks. And they agreed to it in principle. And then all of a sudden the regular season's around the corner and the decision makers apply the pressure. And he signs a 4-year, what was it, $120 million of new money? Wasn't even ready for training camp. Sat out the regular season.
I can't give up on him just yet if I'm John Lynch.
You can't give up on him because you traded Debo.
I know.
Why would it make sense to trade him too?
I'm glad you brought up the ACL thing. That's real. I don't love that. But, man, you remove him from the equation.
Juwan Jennings, I like.
He's just a guy.
Pearsall has a future.
Yeah, but I know what Ayuk is, or I thought I knew what he was when he was right. And so
I will say false as well. I think it'd be too dramatic for them to move him right after moving Debo in a year where I think they've got to bounce back.
I want to throw the pads on come week 1 and look out there and see Ayuk, Kittle, and CMC around Purdy with Trent Williams, one of the best left tackles in the sport. Like, I think that's what they should shoot for. Because what are you getting back for Ayuk right now? You're not getting a 1. That ain't on the table.
What you're getting is somebody else paying his $22 million roster bonus.
But
that's what you're getting, their option bonus.
I hear that, but getting rid of him, I either need right now talent. That's why I liked the Amari for Ayuk thing last year. I was in on that for both parties. Like, I saw the vision. But, yeah, Juwan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall Jr., Demarcus Robinson, I don't love that. I don't love that.
If they were a different team, a different brand in a rebuild, I'd say I'm all for this. I'll absorb the dead money and we'll move on and rebuild. They're the 49ers. They won 6 games. Yeah. I just don't see them doing this.
Yeah, I'd keep them.
Finally, we'll just wrap up with some news because I saw this heading into Dan Hope coming up. It looks like 4-star offensive tackle Sam Greer out of Akron-Hoban committed to Ohio State today. Tyler Bowen hot on the trail right now.
You love to see it. That was one thing. We gave Coach Justin Fry a lot of love for what he did down the stretch. Getting those guys ready to play. Donovan Jackson was awesome at left tackle. But one thing that was a thorn in the side of some Buckeye fans, I know, was the lack of recruiting there. So the fact that Tyler Bowen's coming in, cooking with some hot grease already is definitely what you want to see. So shouts to him for making some noise already.
Keep the big boys in the state.
Yeah,
keep the big talent in the state. They're already inherently feeling like they grew up with Ohio State, and they want to come here. And then the best part about all that is when you sign a guy and it's also being reported by like people at Bama and people at other big places, like, look who got him.
You're doing something.
Yeah, you're doing something right. All right, we will continue with Buckeye football when we come back in 2 minutes with Dan Hope of 11 Warriors, Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
This is Jeff for Tri-State Men's Health, where our erectile dysfunction treatments are shown to be effective in nearly 90% of cases. Listen to what Alex has to say about our ED treatments.
I have been experiencing problems with ED, but that's all changed. My name's Alex, and I've been a patient for Tri-State Men's Health for under a year. I highly recommend this. Every day I wake up feeling good compared to I was back in the old days. It changed. It's more exciting. You know, I don't have a problem with ED anymore. I'm having a lot more fun. I was very comfortable. I was always comfortable in any conversation I had with Tri-State Men's Health. Yeah, I just want to let gentlemen out there know that you do not have to live with ED, that it is not just an aging process. It is also hormonal and balance and everything in your system. And once you get that under control and everything, you do go back to your youth a lot in how you feel.
Thanks, Alex. It's true. If you're like most men, we'll help you get your sex life back. Call 800-900-9654 or go to tristatemenshealth.com.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but
They outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint. Let's trade lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
Paying rent can feel like throwing money away. And when you're spending so much, it can be hard to see yourself buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is helping you put your monthly rent towards home ownership with Rent Rewards. For the first time, save up to $5,000 off the cost of your first home just by paying rent. Only at Rocket Mortgage. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to find out more.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Matty is a diehard Reds fan. I mean, where else is he going to go? You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
All right, as Ryan Day reminded all of us, now we're $1.58 away from that opener at the Shoe against Texas. They'll both be top 5 going in. You could almost take that to the bank. And we'll discuss a lot of the positives, maybe some question marks going into the season, trying to repeat as national champs and take down the rival this year. Our friend Dan Hope from 11 Warriors jumps on the Bryant Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Hey, Dan.
Hey, how's it going?
All good. Outside the quarterback question, what is the biggest question in your mind for this team this year?
Well, it could be front of mind because we just talked to some of the defensive linemen today, but I think for me, the defensive line is probably that biggest position, especially on the defensive side of the ball, because you're replacing 4 really, really good players from that unit last year in Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau, Tyleik Williams, Ty Hamilton. So can Kenyatta Jackson and Caden Curry, who have been waiting their turn for 3 years, can they step up and be the guys to lead that unit forward? Can, Edric Houston, Caden McDonald be guys you can consistently rely on to play a lot of snaps at defensive tackle? Can CJ Hicks, making that move to defensive end, become an impact player in that defensive end rotation? I think, there's plenty of talent there, but I think there's the lack of anybody in that defensive line group who's played a substantial number of snaps at Ohio State on a consistent basis, to me, makes that one of the biggest question mark positions.
Staying there on that D-line, on the defensive side of things right now, Dan, what do you think they acquired in Logan George coming in?
Yeah, I think, Logan's a guy that, you look at what he did last year at Idaho State was very productive. Now he's making a big jump from the FCS to the Big Ten. So you never quite know when a guy is making that kind of jump, how exactly is that going to translate? But I think the physical tools are there. Certainly you look at the production there. And so I think they have the potential to have a really good defensive end rotation with Kenyatta Jackson, Caden Curry, CJ Hicks, Logan George. I think if all 4 of those guys become what they think they can be this year, that could be a really good defensive end group. And maybe this looks more like some of the previous Larry Johnson rotations we've seen where, the last couple of years it tended to be very heavy lean on Jack and JT. I could see this being more like, you think back to when they had, Nick Bosa, Tyquan Lewis, Jalen Holmes, Sam Hubbard, of, really rotating 3 or 4 guys heavily. I think if CJ Hicks and Logan George can prove that they're guys they can count on, maybe this becomes more of a true rotation at defensive end this year.
We were looking at stats earlier, and I said to Maddie, that Will Howard carried it 105 times last year. And, certainly in key moments as well. When you lean into that part of it, whoever plays quarterback for them, kind of handicap that part of it for me. I think we know Tavion is incredibly athletic, but very young. Julian can do both. Certainly Lincoln can do both. But where do you think the kind of design of the quarterback run goes this year, depending on who they pick?
Yeah, it's a good question because I think especially if Julian's the guy, he's just not as big as Will Howard. Will's a guy, he was built to be able to kind of, take some of those shots that you're going to take running the ball. You look at Julian, he's more like 205. Do you really want him to be a guy that you're putting in harm's way? And so my feeling is we're probably going to see less of a quarterback run this year than we did a year ago, especially if Julian Sayin ends up being that guy. You know, if Lincoln Keenholz was to emerge, maybe that changes. But I think with Julian, I think the athleticism is there for him to be a runner when they need him to be. But I could see Ryan Day maybe being a little more cautious with Julian, kind of like he was when CJ was the starting quarterback, because he just doesn't have the same frame as Will, to where I think they might be a little bit more cautious about wanting to put him in harm's way with some of those shots he would take running the ball.
You know, there's going to be so many eyeballs on Jeremiah this year just to see what he can do outside again after just an incredible true freshman season. But Carnell Tate, Dan, I think is a guy with more opportunity, can really crank his play up to a whole nother level. Had a solid season last year, but now with Emeka out of the mix now, Carnell seems like, Dan, he's ready to pop off. Your thoughts on Carnell and where his game could go now?
Yeah, he's a great player. I mean, I think you saw that last year, like you said, was overshadowed a little bit by Jeremiah and Emeka, but, you know, still had a really productive season, around 700 yards, I believe. And so, you know, I think he's a guy who, you know, you talk about him, he's the number 2 receiver at Ohio State, but he'd be the number 1 at most other programs around the country. I think he in his own right is one of the best receivers in college football. And you pair him with Jeremiah, you pair them with Brandon Inniss, you bring in Max Clare at tight end, you have a guy like Mylan Graham up and coming. You know, I really don't think this receiver room is going to miss a beat, even with losing a fantastic player and Emeka Egbuka. I think this receiver room is going to continue to be as elite as it's ever been, because obviously you've got 2 stars on the outside and Jeremiah and Carnell, and I think you've got plenty of other pieces around them to keep that train rolling.
Speaking of pieces, I'm kind of glad you went there. Young quarterback, new quarterback, tight end in the mix. They get the big kid from Purdue to kind of transfer in, Claire, from St. X, and it feels like he's going right up to the top of that chart. Are they talking about him?
Yeah, I mean, I think you bring in a guy who was as productive as he was. I mean, he had over 50 catches, a lot of yards last year at Purdue, and you're talking about a Purdue offense that was one of the worst offenses in the country. So you figure if he can do that there, what can he do when you now put him in an offense where he's going to have Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate and Brandon Inniss to take attention off of him? And so I think the potential for Max Clare in this offense is sky high, and I think you would not bring in a guy like that if you didn't have intentions of making the tight end a significant part of your passing game.
Let's talk about that LB room. Sonny Styles and Cody last year, really held it down and were a key part of, obviously, the program winning a national championship. But outside of Sonny Styles, talking about the second level of that defense and some names we need to be watching out for come the spring game and beyond when we get to the fall.
Yeah, certainly Arvell Reese. We saw him play a lot last year as that number 3 linebacker. I think he's very much in line to step in and take those reins from Cody Simon at Mike linebacker. And I think, you know, based on what we saw from him in his role last year, I thought he played really well in that role. So I think there's reason for a lot of optimism about, you know, what Arvell can do. You know, obviously it's a little bit different. You become that starting Mike. There's a lot of leadership responsibility that comes with that. But I think being able to plug him in next to a veteran like Sonny, a guy who seems like he's probably going to be the block-o of this team and a captain for this team, I think that's going to really help Arvell coming in as a first-year starter. And then I think Peyton Pierce as well is another guy that James Laurinaitis is really high on. I think he'll be that third linebacker this year, a guy who can play in, you know, those 4 free packages and maybe even push to, you know, rotate in. He can play both the Will and Mike spots. So I think you'll see a lot of Peyton Pierce this year in addition to Sonny Styles and Arvell Reese.
We are visiting with our friend Dan Hope of 11 Warriors, covers the Buckeyes on the beat. He's on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Ryan talked about the comfort level of Brian Hartline and kind of just getting used to wearing the headset and calling the plays and all that. Was Hartline asked yesterday about whether he would prefer to be down there looking in the quarterback's eyes or if he wants to see the game from a bird's eye view?
He has not been asked about that yet. So, you know, I'm not sure on that yet, what way we're going to go with it. You know, a lot of times, you know, they have had that play caller up in the booth, but, you know, he is, you know, more familiar with being down on the ground. So not really sure what they're going to do there yet.
You know, before we went to break and brought you on, Dan, you know, our CBR producer let us know that Tyler Bowen, the new offensive line coach, is out there doing some good things on the recruiting trail, which is great to see. Justin Fry, that offensive line unit, how they got themselves together for a national championship run was awesome. But it looks like, Dan, Tyler Bowen's coming into Columbus and making some noise.
Yeah, off to a great start on the recruiting trail. Just landed a commitment from Sam Greer this afternoon, pairing him with Maxwell Riley. Those are the two highest-ranked offensive linemen in the state of Ohio. So, landing both of those guys was a, huge first priority for Tyler Bowen. He's gotten that done. Now the goal is to try to go get some of those big fish nationally. That's kind of was the critique of Justin Fry was, missing out on landing some of those, out-of-state top offensive tackles. And so I think landing Maxwell Riley and Sam Greer is a great start. And now the goal, as you continue through spring, go into the summer, is whether it's a Jackson Cantwell or an Emmanuel Iheanacho, Felix Ojo, those are some of the top offensive tackles in this class. If he can land a guy like that, that would really make a statement in year one.
Talked earlier today about the quarterback situation and how important it is to really find an answer even before fall, or feel like you have it at the beginning of fall, only because of the game that presents itself right out of the gate, as opposed to last year where maybe you could have survived or even, won the same games with Devin Brown if they decided to go that way. Do you think that there'll be more of a priority to make sure they have the guy so then they can focus on it a little earlier in the fall?
Well, yeah, you start the season playing Texas. You got to go in with, you don't have time to experiment. You got to go in and be ready to go try to win a game against a top 5 team. So certainly that it creates the sense of urgency. And then, I think you just look at what happened 2 years ago when you let that competition bleed into the season with Kyle McCord and Devin Brown. It just felt like they never got into a rhythm because of that. And so I think because of that, you learn from that. I think that does really increase the importance of you want to know who your guy is firmly going into the season. Now, somebody's still got to go emerge and prove that they are that guy. But I think certainly the hope is, by the middle of preseason camp, you know who that starting quarterback is. You can name that guy, and you really build the offense around that guy.
Dan, great stuff as always, bud. Thanks for jumping on. We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Yep, that's Dan Hope, 11 Warriors on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. All right, we'll come back and tell the truth next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
We have so many local shows, I can't fit them in a 10-second promo. So let's just say we're live and local all damn day. The Fan.
Sometimes you don't realize something was bothering you
until it's gone.
That's how you're going to feel
after we work our magic at your house.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
If you're like most Americans, you've racked up tens of thousands in credit card debt. You're stuck with 20% interest fees, and even the monthly payments, well, they're hard to make. It's insane. Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. The good news is that there is a way out. AFLcash.com. That's AFLcash.com. Advantage First Lending. They specialize in fast, easy access to the equity in your home. Most homeowners have hundreds of thousands of dollars in their home equity. That's your money. AFLcash.com can get it out for you with zero junk fees and zero hassle. You can pay off all those credit cards in just a matter of days. Pay off your car loans too. Cut your monthly expenses by $800 or even $900. I'm telling you, the relief you need, well, it's right there at your fingertips. AFLcash.com or call 844-394-CASH. That's 844-394-CASH. Break out of the credit card debt prison with AFLcash.com.
Equal Housing Lender, NMLS 1209177. Subject to lender approval. NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hey friends, Beamer here. I've got to tell you, losing almost 70 pounds with Awaken 180 has absolutely changed my life. My motivation from the start, it was crystal clear. Get healthy, be more active, and become the dad that I wanted to be. All thanks to Awaken 180, well, that mission has been accomplished and then some. This program didn't just help me drop the weight, it completely reshaped my relationship with food. I've learned so much about nutrition and eating healthier, it just comes naturally now. Everything's easier, whether I'm running around after the little guy, hopping on a plane, middle seat, that's no problem. I've avoided that for years. That's not ideal, but I could do it. Life just seems a little more accessible now. And the best part, hands down, being active with my son. More energetic, more involved, fully present for every moment with my family. Trust me, nothing beats that feeling. And if you're ready to make that kind of a change for your health, your family, and your life, call Awaken 180 today, 844-346-1800, or online at awaken180weightloss.com. Again, that is 346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
Wouldn't it be nice if you could dump all your problems on someone else's back? Well, when you wake up to a clogged drain or a plumbing issue, make that Mr. Rooter's problem.
Call 855-MISTERS today or MrRooter.com.
Call Mr. Rooter. He'll be there quick.
It's Kubota Orange Days. From America's #1 selling compact tractor to zero-turn mowers and versatile RTVs, get your perfect match delivered to your door. Now through June 30th, get 0 down, 0% APR for 84 months or up to $2,000 off BX 2380 tractors. See the details at KubotaOrangeDays.com.
Stop by CEC Turf and Tractor in Athens, Canal Winchester, Lancaster, or Toledo to see their full line of Kubota tractors and mowers, or check them out online at CECTurfandTractor.com.
Rise and shine, jabronis.
What a show this morning.
There's only one place where Buckeye legends lay the smackdown. Morning Juice with Bobby and Beamer.
Weekday mornings starting at 6.
Give me a juice box, yeah.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
When you reach for UDF's new pizza, you're getting more than just a quick slice. You're getting family recipe focaccia dough, handcrafted in our bakery. You're biting into a hot, crispy crust. You're tasting delicious sauce and loads of meaty, cheesy flavor. You might even be burning the roof of your mouth on that first bite, but that's okay. It's a good burn. UDF makes more than just pizza. We make pizza for you. New Sicilian-style pizza from United Dairy Farmers at participating locations. UDF, made for you.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for my friends at Germain Honda of Dublin. Rich is caught up in the madness, and he's passing it to you for a slam dunk of deals. He's got rates as low as 0%, leases starting from $249 a month. How about a 2025 Honda Prologue all-wheel drive Elite? Lease it for $297 a month for 36 months, 30,000 miles with only $19.99 down. And he's even throwing you an extra $1,000 for your trade. More than 500 new and pre-owned to choose from. See dealer for details at Germain Honda of Dublin.
The Fan Poll is brought to you by Caster Connection. Visit CasterConnection.com to shop online or to work with our Caster Solution specialists.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
All right, CB, take us home.
All right, so in True or False, we were discussing the White Sox, and I brought up a pretty interesting would you rather that I thought needed to come to the air to both of you, and I want you to answer this. If I made you either or in this situation, you have to pick. I gave you season tickets to the White Sox this season. You have to go to all 81 home games, rain or shine, or you have to drink 3 of their famous campfire milkshakes in one sitting.
I'm doing the milkshakes. I can't watch that brand of baseball every single night at home. I can't do it.
You're not really watching them. You're going for the opponent as well.
That's true, but still, the games probably get out of hand. It'll probably be 8-0 after the third inning because they're going to be so bad. The campfire milkshake actually looks pretty darn good. It's kind of like a s'mores vibe going on. So I'm going to force myself, AR, to house 3 of those instead of going to 81 games of watching what probably will be the worst team in the sport again.
So let's all be honest. The thing looks amazing. It's outstanding. It's graham crackers. It's chocolate. It's marshmallow. It's ice cream. It's whipped cream. It's great. You said 3 in one sitting. So now you have to know you're going to throw up. You're going to be sick. So let's go into it knowing that. How violently sick, I don't know. I don't know which end it's coming out of. Maybe both. 3 of them. So one is done. Like one you take down at a ball game, you're good. He added 2 more. So that's 1 every 3 innings.
I think I found us a loophole. He didn't clarify how long this sitting is.
I assume he meant in a ball game.
So he didn't say an hour, 2 hours.
How about a ball game?
If my
You
butt
cannot
cheeks don't...
you cannot get up from the seat until you finish all 3.
I think a ball game would be right because that's 1 every 3 innings.
That's fair.
CB's roof, hey. As long as I don't get up, I'll be there all day.
So here's the issue.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
I
baby.
know how your bladder works. That's not working.
And not only that, the sugar that would jar his body because they wouldn't know what foreign object he put into it. And then you're adding probably, Maddie, 5,000 calories.
It's
easy.
fine. I would live with that rather than going to that ballpark where there's not going to be any energy in the building. CB mentioned
what
the
are
weather.
the seats like? Behind home plate?
I'll give you whatever you want.
Then I'm there.
Every
only
night?
81 of them. Most of them are in the summer. Some of them are summer nights.
What about those early
summer loving?
Those early April games where it's 40 degrees.
It's awful, by the way. I've gone to those games that you feel like you're at a football game.
Oh, man.
I don't know the logistics of all this because we'd have to really get into it. I mean, would I be able to go? I'd move there. I wouldn't have to travel. You're not making me drive to all these hours upon hours to get to these games.
Hypothetically, we'd be in Chicago.
I'm there. We'd be in
Chicago.
No, I can go to 81. I'm not really that opposed to taking down 3 of these. It's the one night kind of thing. You're right, because here's the one thing, and you may have hit on it accidentally. Forget about having to watch the game. It's the commitment.
Yeah.
It's the commitment of having to go to one place 81 times.
For 3 hours.
Easy.
Some change.
That's it. Dealing with traffic in Chicago. Dealing with, all right, I'm back on this.
Let's house these milkshakes.
Let's house them. Let's house the, what do they call it, campfire?
They look amazing.
Let's take it down and then let nature take its course.
Just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
You'll find out whether you're lactose intolerant. That's for
true.
sure.
This is always a dynasty manager's nightmare, and it's going to be mine, is when a player announces the age and when he wants to retire. And that's what Puka Nacua did when he says he plans to retire by age 30. He wants to get out, enjoy his family while he can. The question is he telling the truth that he'll actually retire by 30, especially if he has one of these big wide receiver contracts?
That's exactly why he's going to retire by 30. He's in, year 4, CB? He should be coming up on...
I think he's year 3.
Okay. So I think AR...
Age 24 season.
6, 7 more seasons in the league?
I believe him. I think you get this big bag. He stays healthy for another year. Rams will extend him out. It'll be a high number. Will it be Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson? Probably not. But I don't think it'll be too far off. So I would absolutely believe him that he's looking at what's ahead of him very soon. You get that generational money, and then you just bow out gracefully.
So this is what they call in life being honest to a fault. You don't need to admit this, because when you get to 27 or if you get injured along the way and then you come back and you want that last contract and they know your mindset is you're pulling ripcord at 30. Like, there have been some productive receivers in this league, not a ton of them, past 30. Evans.
His agent probably doesn't love it.
No, this is being honest to a fault. These guys like Devontae and Tyreek and Keenan Allen and Cooper Kupp and these guys that are still very, very respected at 30 or more still have a chance to get some big money. I'm happy that he's true to himself and feels like 6 or 7 more years. I'm not going to put my body through that. I've seen what can happen. I think you keep it to yourself. So I definitely believe him if you're asking me if this is true.
And that, my boy, is the damn truth.
All right, we discussed Oregon a little bit with Pete Fiutak earlier in the show, but I want to ask you this, tell the truth. Would you go over or under Vegas's line of 10.5 wins for the Ducks this season?
So lose 1.
You can lose 1.
You can lose 1. So they could lose at Penn State. And then they got to avoid getting clipped somewhere.
Who else they got on? They got any out-of-conference games that are interesting?
No.
I haven't looked at their schedule.
I don't know. Is Oak State going to be anything? I don't see it.
I wouldn't expect that.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 1 loss. I'm going to go with I'll take the over on the 10.5. You know, if I get a get out of jail free card with them, if they can somehow go into Happy Valley and win that.
They've got to host the Hoosiers.
Yeah.
Darn right they do.
Who is their quarterback?
Dante Moore.
Oh, Dante's Inferno. He's the 5-star kid, right?
Yeah, transferred in from UCLA.
Yeah.
I'm with you, AR.
Yeah, take the over.
I think I'm going to take the over. Like, where are we at with USC and Lincoln Riley?
Where is that game?
That is at home for them, November 22nd, it looks like.
In Eugene.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you, AR. So I'll take the over.
The weird part about all this is that would put them, because they were undefeated regular season and then lost to Ohio State. Yeah, I don't mind it. And by the way, like I said, if they somehow went in and upset Penn State, I wonder what the look-ahead line on that game is. Like, if they go in there and upset Penn State, then we really are in good shape with the over.
No doubt.
Just find out right now today is true.
All right, finally, the fan poll. It's sponsored by Caster Connection. The question is, which of these teams will make the playoffs in MLB? I'm sure we're going to get a Matty Ice BOFF on this, but it's Guardians, Reds, both, or neither.
It is officially print the shirts season. 48 hours away, CB. Man, I mean, I'm worried about the Cubbies. The NL's National League's crowded though, CB. Like if we don't win a division, I don't know if we're getting in.
I say the Guardians get in, Reds don't.
It kind of feels that way to me because the NL East is absolutely crazy, and then the Dodgers and the NL West is banger too. Guardians.
Yeah.
The truth shall set you free.
Coming up on Common Man and T-Bone, Timmy Hall in Rapid Fire happens at 4:30, so don't move.
If you missed Frank Caliendo, check it out on the podcast. You'll enjoy it. We did a twofer with Frank today. All right, we will talk to you again tomorrow at high noon on a Hockey and Hounds Wednesday. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Common Man and T-Bone are idiots. You should listen to them anyway.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
The Fan, Ohio's idiot destination.
Uline is expanding in Ohio with a 1.4 million square foot building, and they're looking for exceptional people to get this location up and running. The company has seen decades of growth, creating a stable work environment employees can count on. Warehouse workers earn pay starting from $25 an hour, plus substantial bonus programs and great benefits. They also offer multiple shifts and schedules to fit your life. Check out current Aetna job opportunities at uline.jobs/Ohio.
Attention kingdom-seeking business professionals, entrepreneurs, and investors in Columbus. Are you ready to experience a life-changing event that will elevate your faith, finances, and future in 2025? Then you won't want to miss this. Join us for Life Search, featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center for an extraordinary one-day event that will empower you to transform every area of your life through the power of faith. Prepare to be inspired by an incredible lineup of champions, including college football champions Jeremiah Smith and Caleb Downs, three-time national champion head coach Urban Meyer, sportscaster Kirk Herbstreit, two-time national football champion Tim Tebow, and more. These champions have experienced firsthand how faith transforms lives, and they'll be joining Life Search to share their powerful stories and insights on how to integrate faith into your business, finances, and every aspect of your journey. Seats are selling fast to this unforgettable event, so don't wait. Head to LifeSearch.com now to secure your tickets before they're gone. Life Search featuring Champions of Faith, Saturday, May 10th at the Schottenstein Center. Don't miss out. Your transformation begins here. Visit LifeSearch.com today.
Spring forward, Columbus, with the Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling Services. We're here to thaw you out with this limited time offer. Get up to $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer is too good to pass up. The Waterworks and Header Heating and Cooling now together to serve you better with $2,000 off a new complete furnace and AC system. This offer won't last. Call us today, 614-232-2222. That's 614-232-2222.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And now through April 15th, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now at Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.50%, APR 6.56% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3RD-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
Hey, it's Anthony, and I've got a fitting personalized for you. From the moment you walk in the Good Feet store, they're going to take the time to understand your unique lifestyle, your daily routines, and most importantly, the pain that brought you in to see them in the first place. If your feet ache after a long day or that discomfort starts radiating through your knees, your hips, your back, I've been there. The Good Feet store is going to help you where you need relief and find the arch supports that work best for you. And they're working for me. I walked all over the place in New Orleans covering the big game. I was loving it. I literally literally was walking for miles around the French Quarter, Canal Street, everywhere, because I had my personally fit arch supports in my shoes. For more than 30 years, the Good Feet store has helped thousands of people get back to feeling comfort on a daily basis. I want you to be one of them. Go in, take the free test walk. They're immediately available. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA on Polaris Parkway and on Stringtown Road in Grove City or goodfeet.com.
March is on at Lindsay Honda.
Shoot your shot and save.
It's madness. You get to choose your finance rate on over 600 new Lindsay Hondas. 0%. 1.9, 2.9, and up to a full 60 months long. And no trade-in required. This deal works with 0 down. March is on at Lindsay Honda. Save with rates as low as 0% at lindsayhonda.com.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference.
See lindsayhonda.com for details.
That's our us. When dreams sunk in, that's our us.
Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel, plus low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsareus.com. 380-225-BATH.
That's our us. When dreams sunk in.